Edmonds on 760 WJR and on the WJR app, where Michigan comes to talk.
Good morning. Happy Friday. It's good to have you. Obviously, we came very close to an utter disaster yesterday in West Bloomfield Township at the Temple Israel, the synagogue there, one of the largest Reform temples in the United States. And the best news, nobody was killed. Mm-hmm. This truck rams through this building and opens fire on security officers that were there. One security officer was taken to the hospital. He was hit by that truck, but he is expected to be okay. Great news. There was return gunfire by those security officials. And what was very clear yesterday at the scene when Sheriff Mike Bouchard updated the media was they didn't know what the cause of death of this suspect was, whether it was self-inflicted, whether it was due to the fire that broke out at that truck, or if it was the return gunfire from the security detail that was at the scene. Regardless, all of those kids that were in that building made it out.
Yeah.
All of the employees, the people that worked there, the congregants that were there were unharmed. And when, again, you if you just look at the videos of the scene, you would think that something really devastating happened here. But thankfully, nobody was killed.
Yeah, and the suspect is a 41-year-old named Ayman Mohammed Ghazali, who is an American citizen who was born in Lebanon. Sheriff Bouchard was asked about why, and he said it's too early to talk about why.
Obviously, it's a hateful, terrible thing, right? But what drove this person into action, that has to be determined by the investigation. We can presume, but we have to find those facts, and that's going to happen over the next days in time.
And the FBI special agent in charge, Jennifer Runyon, said the agency is treating it as a targeted attack on the Jewish community, and they've taken over the investigation.
You know, thank God that the security was in Temple Israel. And just months before the attack yesterday, they had training by FBI to help staff respond quickly when a crisis unfolds. And thank God they had that training, because it could have been much worse. Also, police in Dearborn are increasing patrols around houses of worship and schools following the incident yesterday at Temple Israel. Officials say Chief Issa Shaheen ordered the added security out of abundance of caution as the region responds to the attack.
We're learning a little bit more about the suspect in this case. Ayman Ghazali, he's a Lebanese citizen. He is a citizen of the United States
American
as well.
Citizen.
He was naturalized in 2016, came here in 2011, and he was born in Lebanon in 1985. He did receive an IR-1 immigrant visa. He married somebody here in the United States. So he is an American citizen, lived in Dearborn Heights, and worked at a local restaurant, according to the Detroit News. He and his wife had filed for divorce just a couple of years ago. And the night before the attack, he posted on social media photos of his family members that were killed in an Israeli attack in Lebanon, according to reports at the Hill. So whether or not this was motivated by that, whether this was retaliation, anger, we don't know yet completely. But that's what we know about this suspect at this time.
I know people who are very, very affected by this, who went to this temple the night before for a big major event and who live nearby, and they are shaken by this. They are very, very upset. And also people who had kids in West Bloomfield schools who couldn't go pick up their kids because there was this lockdown in the schools, and they were very shaken. And this was a scary incident yesterday. But to your point, those children being evacuated, they are okay, but I'm sure they're shaken as well.
Yeah, so I went there yesterday,
Yeah.
so I was on the scene, and it was a couple things that really stood out to me. First of all, the law enforcement presence there was something I have never seen before. I mean, at the staging area where I was, where the media was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different agencies.
Wow.
In this intersection that I was at, that I could actually see. So we saw everybody from every agency in the Metro Detroit area have a presence there one way or another, whether that was just for support, whether that was just to block off roads, whatever it was, everybody responded. Beth Swith was at the scene. She lives in Sylvan Lake, and she talked about, she was there very early. She was dropping something off at one of the hospitals in the area, and she all of a sudden saw these police go by, and she had to pull over so her and her mother could pray.
I got to this light, and then I was like, oh, wow, there's like 10 police cars. So I was like, Mom, we should pray. And then, but I was at the light, and then this, now I know, I'm sure it was a mom, running across the street with a phone in her hand. And like, they were like, she didn't look at me. I mean, I think I had a green light by then. And I was telling people, do you remember the look that people had with 9/11? Like when we would see the footage, and it was like that expression of horror. And that's like what her face, like she just had this expression of horror. And she just was running across the street. So I told my mom, like, we need to pray.
Wow.
Sorry for the wind there. It was a little windy yesterday.
Yeah.
But it obviously was very jarring. And we've seen, whether it was in Pittsburgh, whether it's in San Diego, whether it's in D.C., whether it's in England, we've seen specifically Jewish places of worship that have been targeted. In Toronto alone, in the last few weeks, 3 different synagogues have had gunfire opened. So this is obviously a trend. This is obviously something that has escalated and picked up. It was the police presence there that really struck me, because what our agencies have learned, whether if it's at Oxford or at Michigan State or anywhere else, they have learned and they have adapted and they have responded. Unfortunately, they have to, but they have, and I thought they showed up in a big way. The other thing that really struck me yesterday was after the reunification of the families. Many of those parents parked in the same area that media was parking at this like strip mall. And so they were walking right past us. And I mean, it was cold, right? And these kids had to evacuate quickly, so they didn't get to grab their little coats and their hats and their gloves. And so they're out there in their short sleeves, and parents had blankets over them or their coats draped over them. Some people were just holding their children's hand, and it was again,
it was emotional, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have kids.
Yeah,
you have grandkids and raise kids.
Yes,
it was it was tough. It was very tough. So I just am so grateful for the police that showed up. I'm so grateful that this didn't end in something much worse.
And that they had done this training in these temples all across the region.
Thank God for that.
And that they had this security person is a hero.
Absolutely.
Definitely saved lives.
Definitely saved lives.
Yeah. And, hats off to the first responders who showed up there. There are, some that were hurt there at Henry Ford hospitals.
The smoke inhalation. The smoke the fire was
crazy.
Sizable.
Yeah.
So. And again, how do people in the Jewish community feel? Again, feel targeted, probably don't feel safe. We're going to talk to Jerome Levin on the other side to get his perspective on this latest attack here in Metro Detroit. That's coming up on JR Morning.
This isn't just your money, it's your life's work, your spouse, your family's future. Don't let hidden taxes chip it away. Protect what you've built. Get your free report at moneytalkstaxbill.com. That's moneytalkstaxbill.com. moneytalkstaxbill.com. And join us for Money Talks with Joseph Uplager, Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on WJR.
Introducing Exclusively Cabinets, offering 9 different cabinet lines with no budget too big or small. Exclusively Cabinets offer free state-of-the-art design services. Join our clientele of over 100 5-star reviews. ExclusivelyCabinets.com.
Williams International in Pontiac is looking for skilled trades talent able to work second and third shifts and will be hosting an on-site job fair Wednesday, March 18th from 4 till 7 p.m. To learn more, visit the careers page at williams-int.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Catch the Michigan Opportunity, an economic development series featuring candid conversations with business leaders and innovators across Michigan. Every Saturday night at 11 p.m. on the Michigan Opportunity, you'll hear firsthand accounts on how the state is driving job growth and business investment, supporting a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem, building vibrant communities, and helping to attract and retain one of the most diverse and talented workforces. The Michigan Opportunity, Saturdays at 11 p.m., sponsored by the MEDC. Join Jack Razula every Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Anything is Possible. Hear Jack present uplifting stories of some of the world's most remarkable people and their extraordinary life journeys. Anything is Possible, sponsored in part by Ideal Group. We are Ideal. Raymer Floors 3-day sale, Thursday and Saturday only. Save up to 40% on carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring is on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only. Raymer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at raymerfloors.com.
Visit Old St. Patrick Catholic Church for their 48th annual Lenten Fish Fry dinners every Friday, February 20th through March 27th from 4:30 till 7 p.m. Dinners include fish, choice of potato or mac and cheese, salad, and a beverage. Adult meals are $18 with discounts for seniors and children. Kids 4 and under eat free. St. Patrick Catholic Church is located at 5671 Whitmore Lake Road in Ann Arbor. For more information, visit stpatricka2.org.
Signs of spring. The smell of the first cut lawn. Rain followed by an earthworm apocalypse. And WJR's Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's Tuesday starting with Paul at 11 a.m. and for the rest of the day. Sponsored in part by Visit Skyworks Equipment Rental, Genesis Cadillac, Estate Planning Legal Services, and by Wigley's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Miss it, and your luck could flip faster than a misfired river dance kick.
The Dan Bongino Show.
It's our movement, okay? It's ours. We built it.
Hard truths.
Remember, I just told you, flooding the zone with facts not related to evidence is not getting to truth, it's obscuring it. Don't accuse me of partisan bias here. This show tries to get to a truth lodestar by showing you things called evidence, not random facts unrelated to the point. Well, let's get to truth. Let's produce actual evidence. There's only one choice, man.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
See you there.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in my garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Westbound 696 currently closed between Orchard Lake Road and 96 due to an accident. 12 Mile could be used as an alternate there. The northbound and southbound 275 off-ramps to westbound M14 now closed for emergency construction. That's in place until early November. The right lane closed on westbound 94 as you approach Connor. That's in place till 3 p.m. this afternoon. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
A lot of changes over the next several days. Wind first with a high wind warning through this evening and a little bit of snow and rain to deal with this morning. So just travel cautiously. Any period of snow could slick it up a street or two quickly, especially north of town. 45 this afternoon with gusty winds with that high wind warning. The winds could gust 40 plus. Should be pretty tame tonight. Cloudy 28, but breezy. Colder suburbs. And a cold Saturday, partly sunny near 40. Snow Saturday night, eventually changing to rain on Sunday, but not before maybe a light accumulation. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicon, 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Get answers to your retirement planning questions by joining the president of Brzezinski Group, Brett Brzezinski, right before the big rivalry game this Sunday at 1 p.m. Firm offers insurance services, investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Before we begin, I want to send our love to the Michigan Jewish community and all of the people in Detroit area following the attack on the Jewish synagogue early today. And I've been fully briefed, and it's a terrible thing, but it goes on. We're going to be right down to the bottom of it. It's absolutely incredible that things like this happen.
That, of course, was the President of the United States talking about the attack at a West Bloomfield Township temple and violence again against the Jewish community. How is that community reacting today on a Friday morning? Let's ask Daron Levin, friend of the show. Daron, how are you this morning?
I think everybody is profoundly shocked and sad, and really trying to understand and attempting to put in perspective what happened yesterday. I have to tell you, I've been a member of Temple Israel for more than 30 years with my wife and children. My daughter was married there. The children were bar mitzvahed there. And I know that this is true for many of our congregants, but also many of the members of the community who have shared these happy events with us at Temple Israel. So it was deeply, deeply troubling yesterday to see the images of smoke coming from the building, to learn that somebody had rammed the building with the truck, that they were armed. I only can thank God that there was a security team on duty that was able to stop this person from doing whatever it was they planned to do, because there could have been a massacre there, Jamie. And I just, it's hard to just even think about what possibly could have been had our security team not done what they did yesterday.
You know, Daron, a lot of people might be surprised that synagogues need armed security and trained response plans. Is this something that congregations across Michigan have quietly been preparing for?
It's something that congregations around the world have been preparing for. This is something that is intrinsic to what we as the Jewish people have put up with and had to figure out how to resist and overcome for all our history. So anybody who understands scripture knows that. They know that our temple in Jerusalem was destroyed twice by foreign invaders, but in recent times, there have been similar events in Pittsburgh and in Liverpool and Buenos Aires and now in West Bloomfield, Michigan. So you only have to really have a cursory connection with current events to understand that this is something that we've dealt with for a long, long time. In fact, for our whole history.
I don't have the feeling that Jewish people do about safety. I mean, I can go to church and I don't have those feelings. I have a close friend who is Jewish, and she was just telling me how safe she felt the night before, and now everything has been disrupted again for her personally. Do you think a lot of people feel that way?
Well, I can only tell you from my own perspective, it's something that I wasn't all that surprised at happening yesterday. I'm on the board of trustees at Temple Israel, and we've been organizing security, talking about security, financing security for more than a decade, and it worked. It worked for us, and thank God it worked for us. But it's something that we've been thinking about for a long time. So I'm sure that there are people who go to church, go to synagogue, go to their mosque and feel safe. And you should feel safe in the United States of America. After all, that goes to the very roots of our history of why this country was founded, was for religious freedom and for freedom overall. But we've had plenty of instances when this hasn't happened. There was a Mormon church that was attacked not long ago here in Michigan. There have been acts of desecration. We know that there are people who really are seized by hate and motivated by hate, and you have to protect yourself. There's just no other way to state it.
Daron, there's a phrase we often hear after attacks like this. You know, communities say that it strengthens their resolve. Do you sense that happening already?
I think we were already a very strong community, and I know that this will only redouble our efforts to renew and rebuild and to build a better world through by pursuing justice and by performing acts of loving kindness and generosity. And I know that this is what we're going to be talking about in the coming days. We have to, of course, fix and renovate now our building, which I'm sure has suffered a lot of damage and smoke. There was a lot of smoke damage, and I just want to make a shout out to one of our security personnel who's in the hospital now with a broken leg, and was really one of the people who was instrumental in stopping what happened yesterday. But I think we were a strong congregation and will continue to be a strong congregation, and we're always trying to be a stronger congregation, and that's going to be true going forward.
The evacuation of the kids and them running out is what really just tugs at my heart as a mom. I mean, those kids are safe, but did they know anything? Do you have any information on were they shielded at least about what was happening?
Well, I'm sure, listen, each family is going to handle this in their own way. These are very young children. This was a preschool, a nursery school. So you're really talking about kids probably between ages 1 and 5. And they were quickly evacuated. And again, thank heavens that there were personnel there and very brave teachers that were able to evacuate them. And thank you to the Shenandoah Country Club across the street, which opened its doors right away and made sure that our people had shelter until the police got there. But I think every family will be thinking about how exactly they're going to talk about this event to their children. And it's very sad that children of that age have to experience something like that. But this is the reality of the world we live in. There's nothing we can do about it.
How can we support the Jewish community in these times? Is there anything that we can do?
I think that everybody in this country has to realize that lots and lots of our citizens, unfortunately, are motivated by hate. And this is something that we have to fight every day to oppose. And it's in small and large acts, and it's in activities of our houses of worship, but it's also individual activities. When you hear somebody say something that really reflects hatred or some kind of hostility to another person or group, you have to oppose that. You have to speak out against it. It's very, very important on an individual basis and on a collective basis.
Well, we will do our best to do that to support the community. Daron Levin, thank you for joining us. I'm really happy there were no casualties yesterday. Thank goodness.
I'm thanking God every moment for a tragedy that was really averted. And thank you very much for having me this morning. I really appreciate it. And let's look toward a better time.
Let's do that. Much more on this coming up at 6:35.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
Williams International in Pontiac is looking for skilled trades talent able to work second and third shifts and will be hosting an on-site job fair Wednesday, March 18th from 4 till 7 p.m. To learn more, visit the careers page at williams-int.com.
Custom built for Detroit. 760 WJR. Signs of spring. The first robin. Clocks jumping ahead. The first monthly tornado siren test. And WJR's Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's Tuesday starting with Paul at 11 a.m. and for the rest of the day. Sponsored in part by Visit Detroit. Nika, and Kitsch attorneys and counselors. Miss it, and a leprechaun could revoke your honorary Irish card.
No green beer for you.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm CJ Papa. U.S. Central Command confirms 4 of the 6 crew members on a refueling aircraft that went down in western Iraq are dead. Rescue efforts continue, adding the plane was not struck by either hostile or friendly fire. Iran's leader delivering a message to the world, but he was not seen on camera. So is he alive?
I think he's probably alive in some form.
President Trump speaking with Fox's Brian Kilmeade on Brian's radio show.
We are decimating them. We've knocked out most of their missiles.
You can hear the full interview with the president 10 a.m. Eastern. The FBI investigating terror attacks. One at a synagogue in suburban Detroit. The suspect died. No one was injured. The other in Virginia. A victim was shot dead in a classroom at Old Dominion University. The suspect was subdued and killed by ROTC students. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in my garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Westbound 696 still closed between Orchard Lake Road and 96 due to an accident. You can use 12 Mile as an alternate. The southbound and northbound 275 off-ramps to westbound M14 closed for emergency repairs. That closure going to be in place until early November. Right lane is closed on westbound 94 as you approach Connor till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Reamer Floors. Reamer Floors 3-day sale is here this Thursday through Saturday only. Save up to 40% on new flooring for your home. Carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring's on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only at Reamer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at reamerfloors.com. A high wind warning is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour possible. Rain and snow showers this morning, turning to all rain this afternoon for a high of 45. Right now, it's 37. Partly cloudy and windy tonight with a low of 27. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 40, then snow in the morning on Sunday and cloudy the rest of the day with a high of 58. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Sponsored by Femininio Law. Get David, get paid.com. Traffic and Weather is sponsored by Femininio Law. Get David, get paid.
After an accident, help shouldn't be on hold. That's why only Femininio Law has the accident response team. We work for you, we meet with doctors, we preserve the evidence. Call 855-65-CRASH or visit getdavidgetpaid.com.
Signs of spring. The smell of the first cut lawn. Rain followed by an earthworm apocalypse. And WJR's Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's Tuesday starting with Paul at 11 a.m. and for the rest of the day. Sponsored in part by Visit Skyworks Equipment Rental, Genesis Cadillac, Estate Planning Legal Services, and by Wigley's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Miss it, and your luck could flip faster than a misfired river dance kick.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Explore food security through stories, strategies, and solutions that empower communities and inspire action. Hear thought leaders from across the state on Food Secure Nation with Dr. Phil Knight and Jerry Brisson. Sunday nights at 9 on 760 WJR. Sponsored by Know Better, Do Better.
On your ride home, check out the Mitch Albom Show at 4 p.m. Now to get your day started, here's JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
I think the frustrating thing for me, and is it's one thing if you have a crazy person that goes and gets a gun and shoots somebody, right? That's one thing. You are there is no sane person that would do that. You're not mentally stable if you are going to shoot somebody with a gun.
I would agree.
This is different because you think, well, I'm behind the doors, I'm behind a wall, I'm safe in this building. And that's not the case anymore.
Not anymore, no.
And we have now seen this in two instances here in the state of Michigan. Not only what we saw yesterday at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township, but we saw it in Grand Blanc. Drive a vehicle through a building to breach it and then open fire. It feels like an impossible situation to protect yourself from, to avoid. I mean, you've seen those like big concrete poles, right?
Yeah.
As a way to potentially barricade or stop a vehicle from coming.
Sure.
So maybe
like at the airport.
Right, exactly.
Right. So maybe, exactly. Another great example.
Yeah.
So it feels like we've seen this now a lot. And I don't know what exactly people are supposed to be doing at this point to prepare for something like this.
Well, obviously Temple Israel had a security team there ready, waiting for any kind of evil coming to their doors. And there might be a little luck involved when it comes to the car ramming in.
Yeah.
But after that, that security person is a hero who saved these preschool children's lives.
Yeah. Sheriff Mike Bouchard joins us on the line this morning. Sheriff, it's good to have you. I want to talk about where you're at this point in this investigation. I know it's a collaborative effort with the federal authorities, but where are we at this point?
Yeah, it's very collaborative. Chief Young, West Bloomfield has a great group, and all the other state and local federal agencies. So, a lot to do. Only a short time has transpired, although it seems like it's been a long time because it was so horrific on so many levels. So there's a lot of things to check. Obviously, a lot of people have some thoughts about what happened and how it happened or even why it happened, but that has to be investigated. We had some hiccups trying to get some paper from a federal magistrate, and so it's a work in progress.
I know the FBI is running this case right now, and I saw it seemed like this morning when I was on my way here, Sheriff, that there was like a tank like vehicle going through a home. I think it was in Dearborn or Dearborn Heights, and like going through the window. Was that the suspect's home, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, that was a home tied to somebody at this point we believe was involved, but that hasn't been confirmed with accuracy other than potential connection to the car, which obviously we believe that, but that has to be confirmed evidentiary wise, biologically, if you will.
The training that the temples and the coordination, all of the places around here have been going through, do you believe that made a difference here?
1,000%. Yeah. All of us work hand in glove. I had been communicating over the last 2 weeks with Chief Young, with, a lot of the other chiefs in the area that have significant, facilities or houses of worship that, we were on high alert for. I'm part of a national group that we share intelligence information. And when I got something that I thought was relevant for their area or Oakland County in general, I was sharing it. I actually put a kind of a group text together, and we were communicating over the last 2 weeks. And I had actually texted the head of security at Temple Israel 2 days before it happened and shared some information with them. So they were on high alert. Those folks are top notch. The head of security there has been a longtime friend going back to being coppers together. And he is a retired police officer, as are the other two that were involved. So they had all been, friends and folks that had trained together with other police officers in Oakland County on our active shooter and protocols. So they were very not only queued up, but well trained. So when, the building was breached, they engaged and stopped the threat.
Was that just coincidental that it happened 2 days later, or was there some sort of threat bubbling under the surface that you guys were looking at?
There's nothing specific to our AOR, but there was generic information that I was receiving that I thought was relevant for some of them to consider, to be not only aware of, but maybe sadly anticipate potential, and they did, and we were.
Mayor Baydoun of Dearborn Heights Sheriff mentioned that global tensions are finding their way into neighborhoods now. And as the sheriff, how do you police a community where international conflicts are they're triggering local violence?
It's hard to get in front of and this hasn't been confirmed yet, but when you have situations where an individual is motivated to action for whatever reason, those are hard to get in front of without the help of someone, that is in a position to see or hear, a family member or a loved one, a friend, a neighbor, an associate, somebody that sees what we call leakage out on social media, that they posted something. That's the only way you get in front of really any potential attack, is somebody in a position to see or hear something shares that information specifically and directly, and there can be an intervention. Otherwise, it's respond and mitigate, and that's what happened in this case, was a respond and mitigate, but it was done extremely well, so that the only serious injury or death occurred with the individual that breached the building. Now, obviously, there were some injuries, quite a few actually. We had not only the security director of the Temple Israel that got injured, getting knocked down by the car when it breached the building, but there were 30 police officers, like members of my SWAT team and others, that went into the building when it was on fire and filled with smoke to make sure that that area was cleared and innocent were removed from that building.
Are you concerned about the use of cars in a lot of these instances? It happened with the Mormon church, now here, and sort of using a vehicle as a weapon?
No, yes, I'm concerned, but no, not surprised, I guess is my answer. We've seen that tactic for a long time in Europe. And so there's a lot of ballards and specific countermeasures that are in place in most European cities now. We saw that tactic used in New Orleans. So it's something more and more aware. When we redid our headquarters in 2006, I had that anti-car barrier system, if you will, installed at our facility. So it's something that you have to think about when you have a facility that, is possibly a target.
Do we know anything else about this suspect that you can share as this investigation has progressed? Do we know a motive, for example?
We don't have any of that yet. We're going to gather here shortly and start, pulling everybody back. What did we learn in the, we only busted up our group meeting about 5 hours and 6 hours ago or so. So, we're going to regather and see what we're all individually or collectively pulling together.
Sheriff Mike Bouchard, appreciate it as always. I know you don't like to handle situations like this, but it was very clear yesterday that there was a plan in place, and that plan was executed by law enforcement and first responders. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's one thing I will, put an exclamation point on that. All of us in Oakland County work hand in glove. After the attack in Mumbai, I called all of the chiefs together, and we started a group called OakTech, which trains every police officer in Oakland County on active shooter and mass casualty events. And, that's on large display when we have situations like that. Unfortunately, our agency has gone to 5 such events in 5 years. So it's something that, as I say this a lot, we hope and pray it never happens here, but that for us is not a strategy. Preparation is.
Yeah, that's very, very obvious.
Absolutely.
Sheriff, thanks again. We appreciate you.
Yep. Sure thing.
Yeah.
And he's tired, but he's up. He's doing what he has to do to make sure people are safe and to get to the bottom of this. And thank God for him and his law enforcement friends.
Yeah, and the professionalism he puts out to the world when these events keep happening in his county, I think, is exemplary.
And I mean, again, he sent people to 9/11. Like, Oakland County is involved whenever there is assistance needed, right? And I think we saw that yesterday from all of these other jurisdictions. When there was assistance needed, they came. And I think we should be very grateful for that. We'll lighten things up just a little bit in terms of how much you're paying for health care. It's something that Americans might be cutting back on, and that's not a good thing either. We'll talk about it next on JR Morning.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-216-1635 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-216-1635. That's 800-216-1635. What do you have to lose? Call 800-216-1635. Again, 800-216-1635.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
It's Ryan Armani with Eric from Paramount Roofing. When you hear 5-star experience, what does that mean to you?
To me, it means communicating exactly what we are doing to your home, having respect for your home, delivering the best quality material, crew, and the one we take pride in, satisfaction guaranteed. At Paramount Roofing, we bring the 5-star experience to every roofing project with no deposit required.
Get a 5-star roofing experience with Paramount and get 5 years, 0% interest financing at weareroofing.com. That's weareroofing.com.
Life is beautiful and fragile. We fall. We get tired. And sometimes we get sick. But with Corewell Health, we are also strong. We fight disease. We battle cancer. We come together. We come back. We push forward. When the body breaks, we break through. Corewell Health. We can.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in my garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Westbound 696 remains closed between Orchard Lake and 96 this morning due to a crash. 12 Mile can be used as an alternate. The northbound and southbound 275 off-ramps to westbound M14 now closed through early November. Westbound 94 as you approach Connor, right lane closed there till 3 p.m. this afternoon. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by NECA IBEW Local 58. Count on the Powering Michigan team of IBEW 58 skilled electricians and NECA signatory contractors for your next commercial, industrial, public, or residential construction project. The best electricians, the best electrical contractors, period. Learn more at poweringmichigansfuture.com. Here's your forecast.
Big storm winding up for the tail end of the weekend. Going to bring some snow and rain. We'll deal with some rain and snow this morning. Could be a light accumulation in some spots, mainly north of town, though. This afternoon, gusty winds with a wind advisory, or high wind warning, 45 degrees. The winds could gust 40 plus. Tonight, 28. Suburbs colder, breezy early. Partly sunny tomorrow, cold 40. Snow late tomorrow night. Snow changes to rain on Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit Autolaw.com. That's Autolaw.com.
Well, healthcare has certainly gone up, and people are maybe looking to make cuts in other parts of their budget to compensate.
Well, sure. If you have to pay more for that, then what do you cut back on? Is it food, utilities, or daily expenses? That's decisions that people are making right now. Michael Greiner is the Associate Professor of Management, Oakland University School of Business Administration, joining us now to talk about this topic. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. How are you?
We are fine this morning. Let's get into this issue. Do you have data or numbers of how much more Americans are spending right now on healthcare?
Yeah, it's substantial. And the Gallup organization did some polling that showed that about a third of Americans overall are actually cutting back on their spending. And it includes things like, for example, delaying retirement, delaying having kids, delaying purchasing a home. So you're talking very substantial changes, as well as also not cutting back on their food or cutting back on their driving to save on gas prices.
Professor, we often hear that healthcare costs are a problem mainly for low-income families, but the data suggests that even, middle-class and six-figure households are feeling some pressure. Is that the most surprising takeaway to you?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And, it's a sad state of affairs because the truth is we had been making progress in the United States toward reducing healthcare costs for a number of years. And this is really kind of a recent turnaround where people are starting to feel pressure again. In fact, just a few years ago, we were we had the highest level of insured individuals that we'd had really, historically. And now we're facing a situation where a lot of these people who are struggling, in fact, most of the people who are struggling are people who are without insurance. But even people with insurance, as you point out, are finding that healthcare costs are so high that it's affecting them as well.
Well, and again, when you are talking about delaying big time purchases or life-changing events, it also goes to the affordability issue on a number of other cases. It just feels like from a policy standpoint, we're not in a position to be debating this, like not even with everything that's going on globally on the world stage, but how our politics are these days. It doesn't even feel like we're going to be able to get to a point where that's possible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the sad truth is that this is really a reflection of the way the economy has been developing for a few years now. They talk about what's called the K-shaped economy, which is that you've got certain people at the top who are doing very, very well, but that everybody else is kind of struggling and really feeling stressed. You see that in this type of data, but also you see that in the affordability concerns that people have all over. And you're right. I mean, people are very frustrated. They feel that Washington has been unable to deal with this problem.
I was going to ask you, is it a policy issue here? Is it an economy issue here? Is it all of the above?
It's a little bit of all of the above. But again, it's kind of a sad statement because we had been making progress toward reducing healthcare costs for people across the country. And there have been some recent policy changes that have, been setbacks in that regard. The most obvious one that a lot of people point to have been some of the cuts to Medicaid recently, as well as also the expiration of some of the healthcare subsidies that were put in place as a result of the COVID recession. And those expired just last December. But as a result of that, we've actually seen a drop in people who are covered with healthcare insurance. And, that, of course, is going to be something that drives up prices. But it's also just a reflection of the overall economic situation where, again, most people are feeling stressed. They feel that costs are going up and their incomes really aren't keeping up with it. There's some data to support that, actually.
If more people lose coverage, Professor, does that create a kind of like a snowball effect where hospitals and insurers and taxpayers all feel the impact?
Oh, it absolutely does. And that's part of the irony here, which is that as we're doing things like spending more money on Medicaid, for example, or on, kind of assisting people to be able to get onto insurance as a result of the healthcare subsidies, it actually overall reduced our healthcare costs. which is kind of one of those ironies in these situations. You find yourself frequently where there's this what we call enlightened self-interest, where you behave in a certain way that seems like you're not being self-interested, but actually ends up benefiting you in the end. And that's certainly the way it is with healthcare. One of the big challenges that a lot of hospitals face right now is kind of how people treat the emergency rooms as kind of
Like
their primary care
Right.
physician.
Right. And that's expensive. Yeah.
It is. Exactly. And that's part of what drives up the healthcare cost then for everybody.
Yeah. Michael Greiner, we appreciate it. Associate Professor of Management at Oakland University School of Business Administration. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Continues to be a main
It is.
a main headache for people.
There are rising costs. We're talking about Blue Cross Blue Shield and
Right.
University of Michigan. There's costs for them too.
Yeah.
That's just everything's more expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we just be a little lighter for 1 second? It's
Yeah,
been a
please.
heavy, heavy morning.
And it's a Friday.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a fun, feel good Friday. So we're doing our best with the heavy information, but also we have a new running back here at the Lions. He was at the podium yesterday and he talked about his very first phone call. It was very hyped with Dan Campbell.
Here's Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh man, our first conversation, I was screaming on the phone. Oh, let's go! I'm ready to go. Put me in. He's like, oh yeah, Pacheco, what number are you going? Are you going with 10? You're right. Let's go. I'm on my way. I'm coming home. So that was the whole adrenaline during the call, and I just couldn't thank them enough for just thinking of me.
The adrenaline during the call.
He was so hyped at the
Oh,
podium
wow.
yesterday. It was fun. That's great because it seems like he wants to
He wants to be here. Yes.
He likes it. These guys love playing for Dan Campbell.
Yes.
And maybe that produces another 1-2 punch, not Sonic and Knuckles, but some other thing that's great.
Well, and Isaiah Pacheco, just the way he runs for people that maybe don't. I mean, he's got a power game, but he's got a finesse game too.
Yes, he does.
He's got a little bit of that Jameer Gibbs in him, top end speed. He's going to be a nice compliment.
All right, there's my little light moment. For you.
I love it. We need a little levity.
Yes, we do.
We need a little levity. Meanwhile, we'll take a break. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, we'll give you an update on everything we know from the Temple Israel incident yesterday. We'll also give you an update on everything that's happening in Iran as well. The new Ayatollah is speaking. It's next.
Did you know only 40% of people get to choose when they retire? To reduce fear and to understand if you have what you need to give you what you want in retirement, the charity has learned after teaching tens of thousands of families with assets between $1 to $20 million, you have to educate yourself and prepare now. Hi, I'm Kirk Cassidy, lead instructor for the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program, and the co-host of the Retirement Education Hour heard here Saturdays 6 a.m. and 1 p.m. If you're retiring within 10 years or already retired, then join us for our retirement education courses held at major universities and colleges in your area. At this course, we'll teach you how and when to take income from which accounts at what age to minimize taxes and reduce the chances of outliving your money. Join us for our 8-hour, almost master's level retirement course to learn how to retire earlier, spend more, and reduce your anxiety. To find a course in your area, go to refedu.org. That's refedu.org. These courses are sponsored by the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
800-676-1090. 800-676-1090. 800-676-1090. That's 800-676-1090.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify.
Paid for by Airtime Media. This is the great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
Still searching for two missing. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After a U.S. military plane crashed in Iraq during the conflict with Iran, 4 other Americans are dead.
This crash in Iraq was a refueling plane, and officials are clear to say there was no enemy fire involved, no friendly fire involved. An investigation is continuing. 4 U.S. service members killed in the crash in western Iraq yesterday. A search underway, a rescue operation for the 2 remaining crew members.
That's Fox's Steve Harrigan in Armenia near the border with Iran, which today keeps firing drones into Gulf countries that house U.S. bases as the U.S. and Israel keep attacking Iran. Next hour, we'll get an update from the War Secretary. After a Trump post early this morning on Truth Social, the president wrote, "Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today." He told Fox's Brian Kilmeade in an interview that'll air on Brian's radio show at 10 a.m. this morning.
We are decimating them. We've knocked out most of their missiles. We've knocked out many of their drones. We knocked out a lot of the manufacturing areas where they manufacture the missiles and now the drones.
Again, that'll be on the Brian Kilmeade radio show at 10 a.m. Eastern. Out of Michigan, where Fox's Madison Scorpino reports, we're learning more about the attacker who drove a truck into a synagogue near Detroit and started shooting, but he was shot dead by security.
DHS says his name is Ayman Mohammed Ghazali. He's 41 years old. He was born in Lebanon, entered the U.S. in 2010, and became a U.S. citizen in 2016. And according to the Dearborn Heights mayor, where that suspect lived, he lost several members of his family, including his niece and nephew, in an airstrike this weekend in Lebanon as part of the war in Iran. So that may have prompted this attack.
At Old Dominion University in Virginia, a convicted ISIS supporter shot and killed an ROTC instructor and wounded 2 Army personnel, and then others fought back.
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive.
FBI agent Dominique Evans. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Westbound 696 closed this morning between Orchard Lake Road and 96 due to an accident. As an alternate, you could use 12 Mile. The northbound and southbound 275 off-ramp to westbound M14 closed abruptly for emergency road repairs. That's going to be in place until November. Right lane is closed on westbound 94 as you approach Connor until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Reamer Floors. Reamer Floors 3-day sale is here this Thursday through Saturday only. Save up to 40% on new flooring for your home. Carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring's on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only at Reamer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at reamerfloors.com. A high wind warning in effect till 8 o'clock tonight. Wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour possible. Rain and snow showers this morning, turning to all rain this afternoon today, a high of 45. Right now, it's 37. Partly cloudy and windy tonight, a low of 27. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 40, then snow in the morning on Sunday. Then it's going to be cloudy the rest of the day. We'll warm up to 58. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Williams International in Pontiac is looking for skilled trades talent able to work second and third shifts and will be hosting an on-site job fair Wednesday, March 18th from 4 till 7 p.m. To learn more, visit the careers page at williams-int.com. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your art journey, Dumichel's invites you to discover something extraordinary this March. Explore an extensive estate jewelry collection including Cartier and Tiffany. Fine art from important private collections, works by renowned modern masters, and a curated selection of mid-century modern and traditional furnishings. Join online or in person March 19th and 20th with preview open now. Visit DUMOArt.com to learn more and bid. Dumichel's, your #1 place to buy art in the Midwest. Listen for the SAE Ion Engineering every Monday morning on JR Morning. Ion Engineering is sponsored by CSP, the Composite Solutions Partner, an industry leader in lightweighting and advanced composites. Learn more at thecsp.com.
I'm Steve Finatieri, Regional Vice President for Cumulus Media, inviting you to one of Metro Detroit's premier summer charity events. On Monday, July 13th, 760 WJR presents the Lomas Brown Golf Classic at the beautiful Country Club of Detroit. Hosted by Detroit Lions legend and WJR radio host Lomas Brown, this championship-level outing brings together business leaders and sports figures for an unforgettable day of golf and community impact. After a sold-out debut in 2025, this year's event will be even bigger, with premium activations, elevated hospitality, and lots of Detroit sports personalities. Proceeds benefit the Lomas Brown Jr. Foundation, strengthening Detroit families through scholarships, youth development, and life skills programming. Companies like yours across Michigan are invited to align their brands with a cause that's truly making a difference. Be a part of something bigger than golf. July 13th at the Country Club of Detroit. Contact me directly at 313-873-9866 or visit LomasBrownGolfClassic.com. That's LomasBrownGolfClassic.com.
It's another JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR and streaming on WJR.com, where Michigan comes to talk.
7 o'clock hour here on a Friday. Good to have you talking about what happened in West Bloomfield Township at Temple Israel yesterday. All those kids, all those congregants, all those employees from Temple Israel were safe. Nobody was seriously hurt. There was a security officer who was taken to the hospital after he was hit by that truck that drove through the building.
Yeah.
Through the building. That's when another security officer engaged in gunfire, and the suspect was eliminated. But it was an unbelievable scene there yesterday. Police and first responders from virtually every agency in Metro Detroit seemed to be there. And again, for what could have been an absolute nightmare of a situation, really the best case scenario.
Well, the FBI, I know, conducted active shooter training at Temple Israel just months before yesterday's attack, and that training that may have helped staff quickly respond to this crisis. I mean, earlier this year, the Federal Bureau of Investigation led an active shooter attack prevention and preparedness training session for synagogue staff, focusing on the run, hide, fight, response strategy. These security officers are heroes for stopping what could have been really, really tragic.
I mean, this is a preschool. I can't imagine the parents' fear when they found out what was going on. Allison Jacobs has an 18-month-old daughter at Temple Israel's daycare, and she got a message from the teacher first saying the children are okay before she even knew what happened. And then she has to go be reunited with her 18-month-old.
Wow.
I just cannot imagine.
Sheriff Mike Bouchard says that that the county and places like Temple Israel had been on high alert for weeks prior to this.
All of us work hand in glove. I had been communicating over the last 2 weeks with Chief Young, with a lot of the other chiefs in the area that have significant facilities or houses of worship that we were on high alert for. I'm part of a national group that we share intelligence information, and when I got something that I thought was relevant for their area or Fulton County in general, I was sharing it. I actually put a kind of a group text together, and we were communicating over the last 2 weeks. And I had actually texted the head of security at Temple Israel 2 days before it happened.
And that's one of the organizations that he's associated with is with Major County Sheriffs of America.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right. They do share a tremendous amount of intel, and that has been really, really helpful in a lot of situations. And maybe that was again here.
And the suspect is a 41-year-old Ayman Mohammed Ghazali, who is an American citizen but born in Lebanon. And there have been all these reports that nothing's been substantiated from officials, but just that maybe he had family members who were killed in airstrikes by Israel, and that could lead to a motive here. But no one official has said that.
Yeah, The Hill was reporting that Ghazali posted on social media the night before, so this would have been, Wednesday night?
Mm-hmm.
Of family members that were killed in an Israeli attack in Lebanon. And again, nothing has been confirmed, to your point, Jamie, by authorities yet on that front, on the motive, on what happened, the planning, what exactly was in that vehicle when he rammed it through that building, and what drove him to do this, or if anybody else was involved here. So all of those questions are unanswered at this point, but we're not even, or I guess we're a little over 12 hours removed from this. So that is certainly ongoing. But the fact that nobody was killed, all those kids, I was there yesterday and watching the families walk out back to their cars with their kids was just heart-wrenching. Again, with the notion that everybody's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but the look on their faces, and even some of the kids, you could hear them going like, what's going on? Like, it's cold, you know, like
yeah.
They don't, thankfully they don't quite grasp it, but certainly, you know.
And the parents that have kids at West Bloomfield schools.
Right.
I know some parents there that we were talking, and she was not allowed to go get her kids because there was a lockdown. And so she was very scared, and just, it's really sad and scary.
And police in Dearborn are increasing patrols around houses of worship and schools as well because of the incident. Chief Isha Shaheen ordered the added security out of abundance of caution as the region responds to the attack. And I know the AG, Dana Nessel, is urging residents to report suspicious activity as that investigation continues. And there are about 30 first responders who were hurt with smoke inhalation.
Yes.
And they're at various hospitals as well. They should recover, but, you know, they went into the building towards the danger, you know, and so kudos to them, man, and just all of the law enforcement who, you know, took place and helped these young people be safe, and the security who, you know, was right there, who took this person out to save a lot of lives.
And I don't remember, and I'm so sorry, it was Channel 7. I know it was Heather Catallo. I don't remember the other anchor there.
Okay.
But they did a fantastic job in that initial, when it was breaking initially, and they had chopper footage. And so when I flipped it on, they kept saying, this is recorded video. This is not what's happening now, because what they were saying is, we don't want to show you live video so that if somebody else is involved, they're relaying messages to whoever's there about, where police are coming in at. And I thought that was, I haven't really seen that before.
No. Yeah.
When there's an active situation and they've got eyes in the sky, I hadn't really seen that before. So that, I thought that was an interesting way to present what was going on. And they kept saying, this isn't live. We're not showing you what's going on live, but this is what we've seen over the last couple of minutes.
Okay.
So that was very interesting. Meanwhile, we're going to take a break. Coming up on the other side, talk a little bit about what's happening in Iran, what Donald Trump is facing at this point in this war. That's coming up next. But first, at 7:12, time for WJR's Business Beat, brought to you by Shelving.com. We rack your world. Here's Jeff Sloan, the founder and CEO of Startup Nation, to spotlight the entrepreneurial tech and startup community on WJR.
Good morning. There's no questioning the value of AI when it comes to increasing efficiency and productivity in a variety of ways for your business. But there are also cautionary notes one needs to take notice of, in particular, that some of that increased efficiency could cost you in consumer loyalty. That, according to a new report just released from Lloyd, 44% of retail executives worldwide expect Gen AI to weaken brand loyalty by shifting consumer choice toward value and fit over brand recognition. eMarketer provides insights into what this all means for small business owners and how the use of AI could indeed cost you. They report that the loyalty gap is already visible in how AI handles customer relationships. Some 88% of U.S. adults said AI-powered customer service resolved their issue, but only 22% said the experience made them prefer that brand. That data, according to Gladly's 2026 Customer Expectations Report. And further, shoppers most likely to switch brands are already routing decisions through AI. 1 in 3 Gen Zers and 1 in 4 millennials prefer Gen AI over search, social media, or influencers when it comes to deciding on what to buy. That data, according to a Future Commerce survey of consumers in the US, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So look, there's no doubt that you should be putting AI to work in various ways for your business, but you need to know the downsides as well as the upsides and make smart, informed decisions about what the cost benefit of utilization of AI in your business might actually be. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, the source for everything you need to start and grow your own business. And that's today's Business Beat on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
When your operation is customized, your storage should be too. Visit Shelving.com's Madison Heights showroom, where the experts can talk you through your needs to determine the right fit. From Unirack pallet racking to Lion boltless shelving.
Shelving.com, we rack your world.
I love my dog.
but I hate the mud he drags in every time he comes back inside.
Between my dogs and kids tracking mud in, it felt like I was mopping all day, every day. Leave the outdoors outdoors and keep your floor mud-free with Muddy Mats. Muddy Mats are the only floor mats with thousands of ultra-absorbent microfiber chenille fibers, 5 times more absorbent than ordinary mats. Mud, rain, and snow are no match for Muddy Mat. Paws and shoes are instantly cleaned off, keeping your floor spotless.
Since getting Muddy Mat, I don't worry about what my dog gets into. His paws are clean the second he steps off the mat.
There's no more mopping. I love it. Thank you, Muddy Mat. Right now, get a free medium Muddy Mat of $50 savings with your order of 2 or more mats at buymuddymat.com. This offer is only available at buymuddymat.com. That's B-U-Y Muddy M-A-T.com. Don't wait. Get a free Muddy Mat with your order of 2 or more mats at buymuddymat.com.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Get answers to your retirement planning questions by joining the president of Brzezinski Group, Brett Brzezinski, right before the big rivalry game this Sunday at 1 p.m. Firm offers insurance services and investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Williams International in Pontiac is looking for skilled trades talent able to work second and third shifts and will be hosting an on-site job fair Wednesday, March 18th from 4 till 7 p.m. To learn more, visit the careers page at williams-int.com.
I'm Ann Thomas. Congratulations to the 2026 Women Who Lead class. Jen Bromett, CEO of Gazelle Sports, says her mom is a great role model.
She's one of those people that is, she is a quiet leader. And I take a lot of inspiration from that in the way that she's carried herself.
Special thanks to University of Michigan Health, Von Voigtlander Women's Hospital for supporting Women Who Lead.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Lighter traffic volumes with it being a Friday. However, we do have one problem on the roads, and westbound 696 remains closed between Orchard Lake and 96 due to an accident. 12 miles probably going to be your best alternate. Westbound 94 as you approach Connor. Construction taking up the right lane till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right lane also closed on northbound Telegraph between Sibley and Pennsylvania till later today. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Lombardo Apartments. Looking for luxury living without the stairs? Welcome to Everly of Macomb. Beautiful ranch-style luxury apartments designed for comfort, convenience, and style. Visit everlyofmacomb.com for more information on their specials, including 1 month free rent on a new lease. Here's your forecast.
A cold air sticking around, milder by the end of the weekend, but still some snow in between. This morning's snow and rain shouldn't be too much of a problem, but travel cautiously just in case we get a light accumulation, untreated road surfaces, and maybe the grass tops and the car tops. We'll go through the day and see this rain taper off later. 45, gusty winds. There is a high wind warning, by the way, as the winds could gust to 40. Tonight, cloudy, easier, 28, suburbs colder, breezy early. Tomorrow, partial sun, 40. Chance of snow tomorrow night into Sunday morning, then a change to rain. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stage Account 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
So President Donald Trump threatening major retaliation against Iran following multiple drone attacks on places like Saudi Arabia, other Gulf Arab states. The new supreme leader has spoken and said that the straits aren't reopening until this war ends. And again, whether or not they have planned for that or not, that's the situation they find themselves in.
And the U.S. military now saying that this KC-135 refueling aircraft that supported operations in Iran crashed in western Iraq and killed 4 people of the 6 total crew members. So there are 4 more American casualties in this war.
Yeah, and again, this is the realities of it, but it doesn't make it any easier to stomach. And again, you just wonder, again, the question that people have been asking was, well, how long is this going to go?
Yeah.
And now the oil situation becomes a major issue, becomes a major hurdle that this administration with their decision making in the region is going to have to come to some real grips with. Let's talk to Ben Gieman. He's the energy reporter at Axios to talk about what options this administration has at this point. Ben, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the program.
Sure. So the Supreme Leader came out yesterday. We still haven't seen him in person, and there's reports that he's been wounded or he's sustained some sort of injuries in that initial attack that the United States and Israel carried out to start this conflict. But he said that the Straits of Hormuz will not be reopened. The mines that are there could stay there, but under their control, it's not going to reopen until this war ends. What's the fallout of that?
Yeah, I mean, this is, the International Energy Agency, which is a multilateral, multinational body, yesterday came out and said this is the largest disruption in the history of the global oil market. And look, this organization is not some supermarket tabloid. They're not going to say this lightly. And so the reality is that until the Strait of Hormuz is open and until oil transit can safely pass, go through it, and until shippers have confidence to do that, we are going to see a vastly tightened market and a lot of upward pressure on prices. And that's, there's just no getting around that. I mean, as I'm sure a lot of your listeners know, this narrow waterway handles about 1/5 of the total global oil trade, a full 1/4 of oil and petroleum products that move across water. So, there's no sort of silver bullet. There's no getting around this until the strait is reopened. There are, however, efforts that the Trump administration is taking that are going to be perhaps more at the margins, but perhaps together could be consequential to find other ways to loosen the market. Last night, you had Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that the administration is temporarily waiving sanctions on Russian oil that's already sitting in tankers off the coast of various countries, in order to ease purchases of that so it can be refined. You've got potential waivers of what's called the Jones Act in the U.S., which is, essentially would allow more tankers to move goods from the Gulf Coast up to the East Coast, where fuel prices tend to be more expensive. That could maybe ease prices by a few cents at the margin. So there's a few levers they can pull. But the reality is, as long as this conflict goes on, the market is going to remain greatly tightened, and there will be upward pressure that people will feel at the gasoline pump.
Ben, the U.S. and the allies are preparing what could be one of the largest emergency oil releases ever. And, when people hear 400 million barrels of oil, that sounds like a lot, but the market reaction suggests it may not be enough. So why didn't prices fall more after that announcement?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a couple sort of market psychology theories about this. This is the largest coordinated release of emergency stockpiles in history. So, on some level, the kind of reverse psychology might have been that people, oil traders saying, oh my goodness, if they have to do this much, the situation is really, really, really dire, right? And, I think this, again, is something that can help. I don't want to say at the margins, but it'll be a sort of minor effort compared to the scale of the total disruption. But, I mean, look, you've got a global oil market that's on the order of 100 million barrels a day, okay? And these releases have to occur sort of, slowly over time. So, like I'm saying, they can sort of help loosen things up, but it is not a substitute. And honestly, the International Energy Agency was very clear-eyed about this, saying, look, this is not a substitute for getting the sort of getting things flowing again from the region. One thing I would also add about that is that there are these sort of spillover and cascading effects, right? Because when you've got this waterway that's now just bottled up, basically, you've got a lot of, or at least a number of the big countries in the Persian Gulf that pump a lot of oil. they're tapping the brakes on their output because the just places to store it on shore are just getting really tight and starting to fill up. So you've really got these ripple effects, and there's just no easy solution for it.
This decision has not been made, but military escorts through the strait, insurance there for the tankers going through. Could that help in some way if we get to that point?
Maybe. You had both Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Energy Secretary Chris Wright in separate press interviews yesterday saying this could start to happen soon, perhaps with just the U.S. alone, perhaps as sort of a broader multinational military coalition offering tankers some type of protection. I mean, Iran's military capabilities have been degraded, but they are still able to sort of hit targets with drones and from shore-based projectiles. And so I think one thing that's really unclear to me is even if the U.S. and perhaps with partners do go ahead and say, okay, we've got your back, we're going to provide these escorts, I honestly don't know how many tankers and how many shipping companies would take them up on it. I mean, I think that's going to have to be a calculation about how much protection can really be provided.
I'm going to take a little bit of a liberty here with one of the quotes that you wrote for FCC purposes. A senior Trump administration official told you the Iranians messing around with the straits makes Donald Trump more dug in. Messing was not the word, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you go on to say that the president believes, as many in the White House do, that gas prices will fall substantially when this is over and long enough before the midterms to where it's not going to be a problem. Is this taking up as much of his attention as opposed as in conjunction with the military action that he's receiving in other places of the country?
Yeah, so just to clarify, those comments were made to my colleague at Axios, Mark Caputo. But yes, this is clearly occupying a lot of the headspace and bandwidth of the administration, right? I mean, no incumbent politician wants to see huge fuel price spikes on their watch, right? Especially in an election year. I think it all gets back to the duration of the conflict. I was talking with some oil market and fuel market experts over the course of the week, and they were saying, once the hostilities stop, once things are opened up again, it's going to take, somewhere between 3-4 weeks, perhaps up to 2 months for this to filter back through the system and for prices to go back to where they otherwise would have been. Now, they were honestly rising up a little bit anyway, as, refiners switch over to their summer blends, as people start driving more for spring break, as the summer driving season looms, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think if this ends soon, and the president has been signaling he wants to wind it down kind of soon, this could be pretty significantly in the rearview mirror by the time that the midterm elections roll around. But this is starting to look like a sort of longer term conflict. I mean, like we were saying, Iran has been degraded, but they still maintain pretty significant capabilities. So I think it's all a question of at what point the president's kind of pain tolerance, political pain tolerance for higher prices starts to affect the military strategy, and how long we continue this or seek some type of off ramp, if you will.
Ben Geeman, we appreciate your analysis on Axios and taking some time with us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day and a good weekend.
Yeah, you do the same. I was listening to one analyst who closely watches the Middle East, and the surprise that Donald Trump said that he had when they started attacking these other countries, these Gulf countries, they being Iran, that they are just trying to throw a whole other wrench into this.
Mm-hmm.
They know that they're not going to be able to go toe for toe with the U.S. military.
Oh, no, this is their strategy.
The strategy is to disrupt the oil markets, to put pressure on the administration that way. More coming up on JR Morning.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-780-3599. 800-780-3599. 800-780-3599.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. This is Keith Kingston, tax partner at Metro Detroit accounting firm Schindel Rock, with our weekly tax tip for business owners. It's not too late to reduce your 2025 taxes. Business owners can still set up a retirement plan for the prior year, and a deduction can be taken for 2025 as long as it's funded by the due date of the tax return. Talk to your CPA to see what options are available to you. Schindel Rock helps Metro Detroit businesses solve complex tax matters. Learn more at SchindelRock.com.
Explore food security through stories, strategies, and solutions that empower communities and inspire action. Hear thought leaders from across the state on Food Secure Nation with Dr. Phil Knight and Jerry Brisson. Sunday nights at 9 on 760 WJR, sponsored by Know Better, Do Better. Join Jack Razula every Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Anything is Possible. Hear Jack present uplifting stories of some of the world's most remarkable people and their extraordinary life journeys. Anything is Possible. Sponsored in part by Ideal Group. We are Ideal.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. 4 of the 6 crew members on board have been found dead after an American military refueling plane crashed in Iraq.
U.S. Central Command says the KC-135 aircraft was part of the operation against Iran, but the crash was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire. CENTCOM says 2 aircraft were involved. One landed safely, and the other went down in western Iraq.
Fox's Tom Rigatti, a Lebanese national armed with a rifle, accused of ramming his car into a synagogue in Michigan.
And according to the Dearborn Heights mayor, where that suspect lived, he lost several members of his family, including his niece and nephew, in an airstrike this weekend in Lebanon.
Fox's Madison Scarpino, a gunman opened fire at Old Dominion University, killing 1 and wounding 2 before being killed. Mohammed Jallo was a former Army National Guard member convicted in 2017 of providing material support for ISIS. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Westbound 696 remains closed right now between Orchard Lake Road and 96 due to an accident. 12 miles is going to be your best alternate for that one. Westbound 94 as you approach Connor. Right lane closed for construction till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right lanes also closed on eastbound Van Born at M39. Same with northbound Telegraph between Sibley and Pennsylvania. Both of those till later today as well. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Weather Seal Home Improvements. This year, don't just get a tax refund, upgrade it. Turn your refund into a bigger return with a brand new roof from Weather Seal Home Improvements. Right now, they'll add an extra $1,000 to your refund towards your new roof. That's a smart deal. Book today at weathersealhomeimprovements.net. That's weathersealhomeimprovements.net. A high wind warning in effect till 8 o'clock tonight. Wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour possible. Rain and snow showers this morning, turning to all rain later this afternoon. High of 45. Right now, it's 35. Partly cloudy, windy tonight, low of 27. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 40. Then snow in the morning Sunday. Cloudy the rest of the day, will warm up to 58. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Aren't tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Stay on the right track to 9 Mile and Mac. Roy O'Brien Pumps and Cars, make your money back.
You don't need a 4-leaf clover, a pot of gold, or to be Irish to get your best deal at Roy O'Brien Ford. Save green all March long on your favorite Ford in stock at 9 Mile and Mac. Celebrating our 80th anniversary. Roy O'Brien Ford. There for you then, here for you now.
Roy O'Brien has the best deal around.
At
At Michigan Auto Law, we know a thing or two about winning. After all, we're Michigan's most awarded auto accident law firm. But what matters more than any trophy or title? The life-changing settlements we win for our clients year after year. Just ask Anastasia Perales.
Josh and Jordan were in constant contact with me, checking on my recovery, the kids, even how my injuries were affecting my daily life.
If you've been hurt in a car accident, go to autolaw.com. We'll fight for the settlement you deserve. Michigan Auto Law. People over everything.
Get answers to your retirement planning questions by joining the president of Brzezinski Group, Brett Brzezinski, right before the big rivalry game this Sunday at 1 p.m. Firm offers insurance services, investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Stick around for All Talk at 9 with Kevin Dietz. Then Focus with Paul W. Smith at noon on 760 WJR and on the WJR app. Now it's JR Morning. Here's Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
It's a tough time, but we will get through this. We'll get through this together. We'll get through this stronger. And we'll continue to be loud and proud of being Jewish. This will not change us. This will not deter us.
And as the FBI continues to investigate this as a targeted attack, we're hearing more from those in the community.
Yeah, and that was the CEO of the Jewish Foundation of Metro Detroit there talking about how they will move forward. Let's ask Rabbi Aaron Bergman, rabbi at Adat Shalom Synagogue in Farmington Hills. How are you this morning, Rabbi?
All things considered, okay. We're taught in our tradition to wake up every morning with gratitude, no matter what is happening, and I think that's just what we're trying to do.
Well, I know just anecdotally, my friends who are Jewish in this community are very shaken by what happened. And I guess the gratitude this morning would be that those children in that preschool are okay. The staff are okay because of a hero security guard.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's tremendous gratitude for that. I also want to express incredible gratitude to the Chaldean community for their love and hospitality and warmth yesterday. They sprung into action immediately and really just welcomed people in and made all of us feel safe and wanted. So it was really very powerful. So again, very grateful that no one else was harmed, though our thoughts are with the security guard who was injured and who have been so incredibly brave. But the outreach from the larger community to the Jewish community has been really beautiful and really inspiring. And so we are shaken to our core in so many ways, but we're also very grateful at the same time.
Rabbi, the FBI is calling this a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. When something like this happens, how do faith leaders help people process the fear and anger that can follow?
Well, I think the first is we have to acknowledge it and not just tell people, don't worry, it's fine. I mean, this was really, for older people who have experienced more anti-Semitism in the past, I don't want to say we were expecting it or used to it, but I think if you have someone who's younger who never really experienced it, this is just so overwhelming. So I think it's just letting people know that we're here to hold them, to let them know that we're strong as a community. But it's scary, and I think to acknowledge that and that we can be rattled and afraid, but we can also be strong and courageous at the same time.
Well, and the fact that what's happening on the global stage somehow seeps into what we see here in Metro Detroit or what other communities across the country have experienced, this almost false equivalent of what's happening somewhere else. All of a sudden that means that there is some cooperation here in our community. And it's terrible that then those children and those congregants are then involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the equivalence part is very dangerous because anti-Semitism publicly has been skyrocketing for years. This didn't start 2 weeks ago. This didn't start 2 years ago. This didn't start 10 years ago. I think it's being noticed, and I think people are trying to make connections because I think people try to make sense out of a situation, but we have been experiencing a significant uptick in violence for a long time. And the fact is we didn't report a lot of it because no one was taking it seriously. It wasn't getting much coverage, or people were gaslighting us, to be honest. So when something like this happens in such a public way during a time of international turmoil, I think people start connecting a lot of dots. But this didn't start 2 weeks ago.
I just think it's sad that a temple has to have an armed security guard to prevent a tragedy when evil comes to the door. It's just sad that this is life right now.
I agree, and it's it's reassuring to some extent. We have a lot of security. Every synagogue has a lot of security. The Jewish community is spending hundreds of millions of dollars in the country to stay secure on things that we would rather spend the money on, say, schools and camps and programs and charities. And it's hard to tell a kid, that go to school, no worries. But unfortunately, all our schools in America are facing a lot of things. But we're open for business. One of the things that was nice last night when I went to services is we had a lot of people. They showed up. Our people show up no matter what's happening. And Shabbat, the Sabbath, is beginning tonight, and we're going to have a lot of people, and we're going to have a lot of cake, and we're going to celebrate the Shabbat. We're going to keep our eyes open, but we're not shutting down because of this. And I think that that's really our strength as a people, is that we know things are scary. Things have been scary for thousands of years, and we've gotten through a lot of stuff, and we're going to get through this stuff, and we're going to do it without bitterness. And we're going to find a way to celebrate life, not to celebrate death.
And Rabbi, you've spent time at Temple Israel. You said you've spent time there, and your congregants have been there as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's only a couple miles from my congregation, and the Jewish community in this area is very close. We all go to each other's places. We have programs. All the clergy is connected. In fact, yesterday morning, I was talking with one of the Temple Israel rabbis who's a buddy of mine, and we were chatting for an hour. And then 20 minutes later, this all happened.
Well, I mean, we appreciate you coming on and reacting to this news that happened yesterday. And I find your responses here positive and grateful and moving forward. And just like the Jewish Foundation of Metro Detroit CEO, that you will not be deterred.
No, oh, absolutely not. There's a strength to us as a people that I really think comes from this idea that we celebrate life, that we really try to look at every human being created in God's image, even the ones who are extremely difficult. But when we give into despair, the bad guys win. And when we celebrate life, then we do what we're supposed to be doing. And again, it's scary. I don't want to undersell how challenging this is, but it's not just scary. And again, so grateful to the Chaldean community, to the larger community. So it's scary in some ways and heartbreaking in some ways, but it's incredibly life-affirming in others.
Well, we appreciate it. Rabbi Aaron Bergman, rabbi at Adat Shalom Synagogue in Farmington Hills. Thanks for your time this morning.
Oh, thank you so much for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
It's not just scary. That's a nice message for anything people might be going
You better
through.
believe it, yeah.
Yeah, certainly. And again, the fact that people are still going to show up, the fact that they've been reached out to by other, members of our community,
Sure.
faith-wise. I think it's what makes our community special that way. But it's easier to feel that way when all those parents were able to leave with their kids yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
As a parent, it would be easier to hear that message when I got my little 4-year-old with me.
It was a preschool of little children, and I don't know what they know or what the parents are telling them. I can't imagine being the parent driving there, not knowing what's going on and trying to pick up your kid. That would be so, so scary. So obviously thinking of all of those people, praying for them. Coming up next at 7:49, we're going to get the latest on the response from the Oakland County Sheriff, 7:49.
First at 7:44, time for Automotive Views with Mike Martinez. It's brought to you by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Learn more at michiganbusiness.org.
Count Honda is the latest automaker to face a pricey reckoning over the electric vehicle market. The Japanese automaker announced it was canceling development of 3 EVs that were expected to be built in the U.S. in the coming years. Gone are the Zero Series SUV, Zero Series Saloon, and the Acura RSX. Honda said it could book up to $15.8 billion in losses related to their cancellation. When you count in recent announcements from the Detroit 3, total EV losses are approaching $70 billion. U.S. EV sales have nosedived since last fall, when the Trump administration canceled a $7,500 federal tax credit that subsidized purchases and leases. Most automakers are pivoting instead to new gas models or hybrids. Honda executives said they needed to, quote, stop the bleeding, and worried bringing new EVs to market in this environment would only lead to further losses. Honda's the latest automaker to face this new reality, but it likely won't be the last. With this week's Automotive View, I'm Mike Martinez with Automotive News.
Wow, did you see this?
Barrett News Media. What is that?
Well, they're a national publishing and consulting firm. Media professionals all read their stuff. But look at who they have in the top 15 of the best radio shows in the entire country.
Oh, Focus with Paul W. Smith.
Yeah. JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
And, of course, the Mitch Albom Show.
I guess that's what they mean when they say the great voices of the Great Lakes.
I always thought I had a pretty great voice. I really do.
Don't sing, hon. Don't. It ain't that great.
Barrett News Media says they're the tops in the country. Catch all of the great weekday shows and see for yourself the great voices of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR.
Your child's education is the foundation for tomorrow's leaders. Listen Sundays at 3 p.m. for School Talks, hosted by Dr. Robert Livernoy. Sponsored by Must Construction Careers. Learn more at mustcareers.org. Listen to the Inside Outside guys Saturday 10 till noon as they answer all your housing questions, sponsored by Kearns Brothers Roofing, celebrating 40 years. Get a free platinum roof package upgrade on your roof replacement this year at kearnsbrothers.com.
No matter the time of the year, it's good for the mind, body, and soul to get out there. Luckily, we're in Michigan, one of the most beautiful places in the country. I'm Dave Lorenz. Join us Sunday at 4 for the Michigan Travel Show, here on 760 WJR.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Is your home feeling too cold in the winter or too hot in the summer? Crystal here from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical to let you know that our technicians are here to make sure your home keeps you comfortable all year long. From installations to repairs, our trusted technicians have you covered and will never sell you anything you don't need. With locations in Garden City, Madison Heights, and White Lake, we've been serving Southeast Michigan for over 55 years. Visit familyheating.com to find the location near you and call to schedule your free no-pressure estimate today.
WJR traffic and weather.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Need it today? At Lowe's, pros get free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. when you order online by 2 p.m. Same-day delivery. Valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at lowes.com/same-day delivery.
Westbound 696 still closed between Orchard Lake Road and 96 due to an accident. Traffic is stopped from the Lodge. 12 Mile can be used as an alternate. Slow travel on westbound 94 between Outer Drive and Mount Elliott. And westbound 94 as you approach Connor, you'll find the Bright Lane closed for construction till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
A lot of changes over the next several days. Wind first with a high wind warning through this evening and a little bit of snow and rain to deal with this morning. So just travel cautiously. Any period of snow could slick it up a street or two quickly, especially north of town. 45 this afternoon with gusty winds with that high wind warning. The winds could gust 40 plus. Should be pretty tame tonight. Cloudy 28, but breezy. Colder suburbs. And a cold Saturday, partly sunny near 40. Snow Saturday night, eventually changing to rain on Sunday, but not before maybe a light accumulation. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicon, 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Talking about what happened at Temple Israel yesterday, the police response was absolutely unbelievable. That investigation continues, and Sheriff Mike Bouchard joins us on the line this morning. Sheriff, it's good to have you. I want to talk about where you're at this point in this investigation. I know it's a collaborative effort with the federal authorities, but where are we at this point?
Yeah, it's very collaborative. Chief Young, West Bloomfield has a great group, and all the other state and local federal agencies. So, a lot to do. Only a short time has transpired, although it seems like it's been a long time because it was so horrific on so many levels. So there's a lot of things to check. Obviously, a lot of people have some thoughts about what happened and how it happened or even why it happened, but that has to be investigated. We had some hiccups trying to get some paper from a federal magistrate, and so it's a work in progress.
I know the FBI is running this case right now, and I saw it seemed like this morning when I was on my way here, Sheriff, that there was like a tank like vehicle going through a home. I think it was in Dearborn or Dearborn Heights, and like going through the window. Was that the suspect's home, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, that was a home tied to somebody at this point we believe was involved, but that hasn't been confirmed with accuracy other than potential connection to the car, which obviously we believe that, but that has to be confirmed evidentiary wise, biologically, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The training that the temples and the coordination, all of the places around here have been going through, do you believe that made a difference here?
1,000%. Yeah. All of us work hand in glove. I had been communicating over the last 2 weeks with Chief Young, with, a lot of the other chiefs in the area that have significant, facilities or houses of worship that, we were on high alert for. I'm part of a national group that we share intelligence information. And when I got something that I thought was relevant for their area or Oakland County in general, I was sharing it. I actually put a kind of a group text together, and we were communicating over the last 2 weeks. And I had actually texted the head of security at Temple Israel 2 days before it happened and shared some information with them. So they were on high alert. Those folks are top notch. The head of security there has been a longtime friend going back to being coppers together. And he is a retired police officer, as are the other two that were involved. So they had all been, friends and folks that had trained together with other police officers in Oakland County on our active shooter and protocols. So they were very not only queued up, but well trained. So when, the building was breached, they engaged and stopped the threat.
Was that just coincidental that it happened 2 days later, or was there some sort of threat bubbling under the surface that you guys were looking at?
There's nothing specific to our AOR, but there was generic information that I was receiving that I thought was relevant for some of them to consider, to be not only aware of, but maybe sadly anticipate potential, and they did, and we were.
Mayor Baidoon of Dearborn Heights, Sheriff, mentioned that global tensions are finding their way into neighborhoods now. And as the sheriff, how do you police a community where international conflicts are they're triggering local violence?
It's hard to get in front of, and this hasn't been confirmed yet, but when you have situations where an individual is motivated to action for whatever reason, those are hard to get in front of without the help of someone, that is in a position to see or hear, a family member or a loved one, a friend, a neighbor, an associate, somebody that sees what we call leakage out on social media, that they posted something. That's the only way you get in front of really any potential attack, is somebody in a position to see or hear something shares that information specifically and directly, and there can be an intervention. Otherwise, it's respond and mitigate, and that's what happened in this case, was a respond and mitigate, but it was done extremely well, so that the only serious injury or death occurred with the individual that breached the building. Now, obviously, there were some injuries, quite a few actually. We had not only the security director of the Temple Israel that got injured, getting knocked down by the car when it breached the building, but there were 30 police officers, like members of my SWAT team and others, that went into the building when it was on fire and filled with smoke to make sure that that area was cleared and innocent were removed from that building.
Mm. Are you concerned about the use of cars in a lot of these instances? It happened with the Mormon church, now here, and sort of using a vehicle as a weapon?
No, yes, I'm concerned, but no, not surprised, I guess is my answer. We've seen that tactic for a long time in Europe. And so there's a lot of ballards and specific countermeasures that are in place in most European cities now. We saw that tactic used in New Orleans. So it's something more and more aware. When we redid our headquarters in 2006, I had that anti-car barrier system, if you will, installed at our facility. So it's something that you have to think about when you have a facility that, is possibly a target.
Do we know anything else about this suspect that you can share as this investigation has progressed? Do we know a motive, for example?
We don't have any of that yet. We're going to gather here shortly and start, pulling everybody back. What did we learn in the, we only busted up our group meeting about 5 hours and 6 hours ago or so. So, we're going to regather and see what we're all individually or collectively pulling together.
Sheriff Mike Bouchard, appreciate it as always. I know you don't like to handle situations like this, but it was very clear yesterday that there was a plan in place, and that plan was executed by law enforcement and first responders. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's one thing I will, put an exclamation point on that. All of us in Oakland County work hand in glove. After the attack in Mumbai, I called all of the chiefs together, and we started a group called OakTech, which trains every police officer in Oakland County on active shooter and mass casualty events. And, that's on large display when we have situations like that. Unfortunately, our agency has gone to 5 such events in 5 years. So it's something that, as I say this a lot, we hope and pray it never happens here, but that for us is not a strategy. Preparation is.
Yeah, that's very, very obvious.
Absolutely.
Sheriff, thanks again. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Detroit is more than a destination and far more than meets the eye. From downtown to the Tri-County area, Detroit attracts 40% of Michigan visitors and generates more than $5 billion in economic activity. That's what makes Detroit the beating heart of pure Michigan. Visit Detroit is proud to play our part by promoting the Motor City to visitors from all over the world. When we champion our workers, businesses, and communities, we can help write the next chapter in Michigan's bright future. Now's the time to discover all the treasures in Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County. Go to visitdetroit.com to plan your experience today.
Stay on the right track to 9 Mile and Mac. Roy O'Brien pumps and cars, make your money back.
You don't need a 4-leaf clover, a pot of gold, or to be Irish to get your best deal at Roy O'Brien Ford. Save green all March long on your favorite Ford in stock at 9 Mile and Mac. Celebrating our 80th anniversary. Roy O'Brien Ford. There for you then, here for you now.
Roy O'Brien has the best deal around.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Flagship radio for the Michigan State Spartans. 760 WJR. This is the great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR. Detroit. A Cumulus media station.
A rescue mission continues in Iraq. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. For 2 service members still missing after a mid-air military plane collision.
Central Command says 4 out of the 6 crew members aboard a U.S. Air Force KC-135 refueling plane were killed following a mid-air collision in western Iraq. It also involved another KC-135. The other one managed to land in Israel. And the matter remains under investigation, although Central Command says the aircraft crashed not due to hostile fire or friendly fire.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson's in Dubai.
Here in the Persian Gulf, nearby in the Strait over Hormuz, it's been effectively shut by Iranian forces, say no tankers can go by.
As Iran keeps up the attacks today on Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia that house U.S. bases, President Trump posted early this morning on Truth Social, watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today. As we expect an update any minute now on Operation Epic Fury from the War Secretary, the president tells Fox's Brian Kilmeade.
We've already damaged them so badly, it would take years for them to ever rebuild. And we're going to be hitting them very hard over the next week.
That interview will air on the Brian Kilmeade radio show at 10 a.m. Eastern. The price of oil is down today as the Trump administration temporarily lifts sanctions on Russian oil currently stranded at sea, allowing countries to buy it. We're learning more about the now dead attacker at a synagogue near Detroit, Michigan. Was a naturalized U.S. citizen from Lebanon who'd recently had family members killed by Israeli airstrikes in the Iran conflict.
The attacker had a rifle and some sort of explosive device that ended up setting the truck on fire inside of the building. But before the suspect was able to do any more damage, on-site security guards shot him. Officials say one of those security guards was hit by the truck, knocked unconscious, but is expected to be okay.
Fox's Madison Scarpino outside the synagogue. In Virginia, ROTC students hailed as heroes for stopping a shooting spree at Old Dominion University, subduing and killing the convicted ISIS terrorist supporter who had killed an instructor and wounded 2 others. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop at Lowe's and get up to 35% off and next-day delivery on hundreds of major appliances. Valid through 3/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Order by 4 p.m. Available Monday through Saturday. These exclusions and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/appliance delivery.
Westbound 696 remains closed right now between Orchard Lake and 96 due to a crash. Traffic is stopped from Telegraph. You can use 12 Mile as an alternate. On the Lodge southbound at the Davison, a crash is blocking the right lane. And slow travel on westbound 94 between Outer Drive and Mount Elliott. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Lombardo Apartments. Looking for luxury living without the stairs? Welcome to Everly of Macomb. Beautiful ranch-style luxury apartments designed for comfort, convenience, and style. Visit everlyofmacomb.com for more information on their specials, including 1 month free rent on a new lease. A high wind warning in effect till 8 o'clock tonight with wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour possible. Rain and snow showers this morning. That'll turn to all rain later this afternoon with a high of 45. Right now it's 35. Partly cloudy, windy tonight, a low of 27. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 40. Then snow in the morning on Sunday. That'll be clouds the rest of the day. We're going up to 58. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Be sure to start every Sunday at 8 a.m. with JR Sunday with Mark Hollis. Great interviews and conversations all in one place on JR Sunday with Mark Hollis, sponsored by Tryon, your payroll and HR solution. To learn more and to reach out to Tryon, go to relyontryon.com.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement savings to stock market risk? There are strategies you can use to keep your money safe no matter what happens in the stock market. Join us for Money Talks with Joseph Uplager, Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on WJR 760.
Now WJR Health Watch. Here's Lloyd Jackson.
Brain surgery has come a long way, and one of the most exciting advances is laser ablation therapy.
Traditional brain tumor surgery essentially consists of removing a part of the skull through a larger incision and then physically removing the tumor. Laser ablation is a less invasive way of achieving the same means of either killing or reducing the amount of tumor that's there.
That's Dr. Ian Lee, a neurosurgeon at Henry Ford Health and co-director of the Hermelin Brain Tumor Center. Dr. Lee explains the ideal candidates for this procedure.
The latest evidence or the recommendations that come from our national societies recommend that it's used for either recurrent or newly diagnosed gliomas. And so while these are relatively uncommon tumors, they're also, laser ablation is also very useful for brain metastases as well.
Dr. Lee says recovery is often faster, complications are fewer, and patients can return to daily life sooner. Some patients worry about having a laser inside their brain. Dr. Lee reassures them that the procedure is highly controlled and monitored in real time.
The way we use it safely is by using very fine navigation. So it's kind of like a GPS for the brain. And so we pre-plan our trajectory and then use a robot to place the laser fiber. In doing so, the risk of causing a bleed, which is the biggest risk with whenever you put something into the brain, is only about 1%.
For more information on laser ablation brain surgery, talk with your neurosurgeon or call the Henry Ford Hermelin Brain Tumor Center at 888-777-4167. I'm Lloyd Jackson for WJR Health Watch.
It's not just morning, it's a JR morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR and on the WJR app, where Michigan comes to talk.
All right, 8 o'clock hour. Good to have you on this little bit of a gloomy Friday morning. By the way, we do have Music Man tickets for you. They're coming to the Fox Theater April 2nd through the 4th at 8:49. So make sure you're listening. Then we'll give you an opportunity to win those tickets. Meanwhile, following the latest out of Temple, Israel, and everything that happened yesterday, there is certainly still an active, ongoing investigation into the suspect in this case, this Dearborn Heights man who was born in Lebanon. He drove his truck through that building. Somehow, by the grace of God, nobody was killed. Children were there, congregants were there, people who worked there were there, and thankfully nobody was killed in that case. There was one security guard that was taken to the hospital because he was hit by that truck.
Yeah, and there were a lot of first responders who got smoke inhalation who are hospitalized, but they're going to be okay as well.
Yeah.
And the person in this, the suspect here, I mean, people are sort of guessing why he might have done that. There may have been some social media posts that family members were killed in Lebanon, but that has not been confirmed by officials yet. Sheriff Bouchard said, let's wait for the investigation to move forward to see a why.
And the FBI is investigating this as a targeted attack on Temple, Israel.
And the FBI conducted an active shooter training at Temple, Israel, just months before that attack yesterday. And, the FBI led this active shooter attack prevention and preparedness training session for the synagogue staff that focused on the run, hide, fight, response strategy. Thank God those security guards were there and stopped the threat and because this could have been much more tragic.
Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be a time where preschoolers are needing to be evacuated from anywhere. It's nuts. And I can't believe those parents and their strength to go pick them up and not knowing what's going on. So thank goodness, as Chris said, thank God that nothing terrible happened to kids.
Pete Hegseth's at the podium this hour giving an update on the U.S. military actions in Iran. We have 4 service members that were killed in that down refueling craft as well.
Right. So now there are 11 casualties in this conflict with Iran when it comes to American service members because of that refueling. They're saying maybe it was sort of friendly fire or something that brought that plane down.
And the new supreme leader is saying that the blockade of the Straits of Hormuz is going to continue. That's not going to come up until this war comes to an end. Yeah. So that's the latest on what's happening in Iran. Meanwhile, you're a big boxing fan.
I am.
We know that. It. And one of the biggest training mechanisms for boxers is jumping rope.
It is. And, and people are always looking for simple ways to stay active, especially as we get older. But traditional jump rope can be tough on the body. The coordination and the timing and the risk of tripping, it can make it intimidating for a lot of people, particularly seniors. And one new idea aims to make the benefits of jumping rope accessible without some of those challenges. It's called the Easy Jump Rope, a design that uses 2 independent ropes to recreate the feel, the rhythm, and exercise of a traditional jump rope in a simpler way. And the goal is to help more people, especially older adults, stay active and enjoy the benefits of working out. And joining us now is the inventor of the Easy Jump Rope. And full disclosure, he is my brother, David Jackson. Dave, good to see you, bro.
Thank you, Lloyd. That was a perfect segue there, man.
Yeah.
You know, about as good as I could have done that.
Oh, well,
you know.
He's always done that.
He's available for marketing purposes.
So, you talk about how this got started. I mean, it was really simple, but it was like 30 years ago.
It was. So jumping rope is something I've always enjoyed doing. It's a great exercise. And 30 years ago, I'm in my backyard and I'm jumping rope and just really frustrated with the whole start, stop, tripping. And went in the house and took a pair of scissors, cut the rope in two, went back out and started jumping rope. And I'm thinking to myself, I says, wait a minute now. I really enjoy this because I can hear the rope hit the ground. I can hear the cadence. I'm still getting the full body workout, but I didn't have the interruptions. And so I could jump for as long as I wanted to. And so that was my go-to, using that particular type of rope. And so 30 years going forward, I'm retired. And true story, I'm walking my dogs in my subdivision, beautiful day, and I hear a voice from God saying, I gave you a vision for your jump rope. And I'm thinking, yeah, really? And so I kind of had to internalize that because I had retired from the insurance field. And that's what I knew, but creating a business and putting together a prototype and those type of things wasn't in my wheelhouse. But the good Lord was taking me out of my comfort zone. And so I kind of resisted, but I got involved and put together a prototype and got a website and a supplier and all of that. And what was really unique is when I had just the prototype, I went to a senior health fair just to test the proof of concept. And it was a hit. Every senior that came to my table said, well, I can't jump rope anymore because, with my knees, hips, that type of thing. And when I did a demonstration, it was like, wow, what a great idea.
So your point here is to get more people active, moving, getting healthier than we are. And so this allows that to happen because more people can do it.
Absolutely, Jamie. The key, especially with seniors, is movement. Movement matters. You're in your yard, you're playing with the grandkids, you're going to the grocery store, having movement, mobility matters. And this will give you that opportunity to do it without the fear of tripping, falling, or having to do the start-stop.
And so just to be clear, you have two handles, like a normal jump rope and the jump rope cable, but they're not connected. So they're two separate pieces.
Yes.
Here. And I bring up the boxing analogy because you were telling us about the benefits to boxers. I mean, they're whipping those things around. It looks like that full body workout, but they do the same thing that a novice like me, I don't know about you guys, but like me, tripping all the time, got to stop. They get that too. But for them, they almost see an increase in their cardio into their workout too.
Absolutely. That's a great point. So when I initially designed this, I had the seniors in mind.
Sure.
But as I met different professionals and individuals at health fairs, what I'm finding is anyone who enjoys jumping rope, you can be a boxer, you can be anyone that likes to work out in the gym. I've got texts from strength coaches who say that their athletes enjoy my rope because they burn 20% more calories using my rope than a traditional jump rope because they don't have the start, stop, and tripping. And even professionals who are in the physical, the therapy space, they use it with their customers that have Parkinson's and cognitive skills.
Wow.
Because they say they need to have that mind-body connection and that rhythm. And your jump rope is perfect because there's no start, stop, tripping.
How can you get it?
You can get it on my website. My website is easyjumprope.com, easyjumprope.com. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Do you have any embarrassing stories about this?
Let's see.
guy?
No, it's time to go. Thank you, Dave, for being.
I got a few.
And the Jackson brothers have great radio voices.
Yes, they
Both
do.
of you do.
Thank you. Well, I am retired now, so
Look
I
at here.
off the market.
Okay, Dave. Thanks for coming in, bro.
Thank you so much for
Appreciate
the opportunity.
it, man.
Thank you so
Great.
much.
All right. We are here on JR Morning, coming back, talking to the Deputy White House Press Secretary about the SAVE Act. That's next.
Get answers to your retirement planning questions by joining the president of Brzezinski Group, Brett Brzezinski, this Sunday at 1 p.m. Firm offers insurance services and investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Your child's education is the foundation for tomorrow's leaders. Listen Sundays at 3 p.m. for School Talks, hosted by Dr. Robert Livernoy. Sponsored by Must Construction Careers. Learn more at mustcareers.org.
Stay on the right track to 9 Mile and Mac. Roy O'Brien Pumps and Cars, make your money back.
You don't need a 4-leaf clover, a pot of gold, or to be Irish to get your best deal at Roy O'Brien Ford. Save green all March long on your favorite Ford in stock at 9 Mile and Mac. Celebrating our 80th anniversary. Roy O'Brien Ford. There for you then, here for you now.
Roy O'Brien has the best deal around.
Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your art journey, Du Michel's invites you to discover something extraordinary this March. Explore an extensive estate jewelry collection including Cartier and Tiffany. Fine art from important private collections, works by renowned modern masters, and a curated selection of mid-century modern and traditional furnishings. Join online or in person March 19th and 20th with preview open now. Visit DUMOArt.com to learn more and bid. Du Michel's, your #1 place to buy art in the Midwest.
Hey, Jim Harper here. Like many of you, I got LASIK surgery back in the 80s, and recently I started having trouble seeing, and it turns out they never told us LASIK doesn't last forever. So now what? Glasses? I haven't worn glasses in years, and I'm as vain as the next person. But then I remembered Mariana and the staff at Direct Optical Optique and how great they were at finding cool frames that look good on me, because they are frame stylists. You can't get that on the web or a big box store, and nobody has a bigger selection of designer frames than Direct Optical Optique. And Mariana still knows everybody by name. She's still selling cool glasses, one pair at a time with a very personal touch. So if you wear glasses now or are wearing them again, you got to go to Direct Optical Optique and let them treat you like a star. They're the only ones who can do that. 2 great locations, Haggerty Road north of Maple in West Bloomfield, and in Canton on Ford Road next to IKEA. OptiqueDetroit.com on the web.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Having trouble sleeping? Visit Mattress Firm during the Upgrade Your Sleep sale. Their sleep experts will help find your perfect bed from a premium selection of top brands. They make sleep easy.
Westbound 696 remains closed between Orchard Lake Road and 96 due to an accident. Traffic stop from Telegraph. 12 Mile can be used as an alternate. The Lodge southbound at the Davison, a crash is taking up the right lane. Also delays on westbound 94 between Outer Drive and Mount Elliott. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Mary Grove Awnings. You built the deck, you bought the grill. Now stop letting the sun push you around. Mary Grove Awnings, motorized, built tough. Click the remote, instant shade, and they can install in as little as 48 hours. hours. Go to marygrove.com and book your free in-home appointment. Marygrove, own your backyard. Here's your forecast.
Big storm winding up for the tail end of the weekend. Going to bring some snow and rain. We'll deal with some rain and snow this morning. Could be a light accumulation in some spots, mainly north of town, though. This afternoon, gusty winds with a wind advisory, or high wind warning, 45 degrees. The winds could gust 40 plus. Tonight, 28. Suburbs colder, breezy early. Partly sunny tomorrow, cold 40. Snow late tomorrow night. Snow changes to rain on Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Stay on the right track to 9 Mile and Mac. Roy O'Brien Trucks and Cars, make your money back.
You don't need a 4-leaf clover, a pot of gold, or to be Irish to get your best deal at Roy O'Brien Ford. Save green all March long on your favorite Ford in stock at 9 Mile and Mac. Celebrating our 80th anniversary. Roy O'Brien Ford. There for you then, here for you now.
Roy O'Brien has the best deal around.
Well, one of the things on the docket, amongst many for those on Capitol Hill, is the SAVE Act. It would require Americans to provide proof of citizenship when registering to vote and to show an ID when casting their ballots. Part of the criticism from Democrats, some say it's Jim Crow 2.0. Others say that for women who are married, it makes it exponentially more difficult. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt pushed back on that claim, saying that if married women have changed their name and they're registered to vote, they are entirely unaffected by the SAVE Act. Let's bring in Abigail Jackson, the White House Deputy Press Secretary, to talk about this. Abigail, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We're well. So let's talk about the SAVE Act. What is it, and what is the proposal on the table here?
Yes, well, the Save America Act, which I think is so aptly named because it is critical for the future of our country, has a few common sense proposals supported by the vast majority of Americans. One, all voters must show voter ID. Two, all voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And three, ending mass mail-in ballots. Of course, there are exceptions for things like illness, disability, military, or travel, but not the mass mail-in balloting we have seen. And the president also wanted to include some other common sense provisions, such as no men in women's sports and no transgender mutilation surgeries for children. Again, these are all common sense proposals that are supported by the vast majority of the American people, and we want Congress to get it done.
You know, critics point out that voter impersonation and non-citizen voting are already illegal and considered extremely rare. How does the White House respond to those concerns?
You know, just because something is illegal, unfortunately, doesn't mean that it's not happening. And the Justice Department has been working very closely with states to clean voter rolls and ensure that only legal American citizens are registered to vote. And just in the short time they've been doing this, they have already removed hundreds and hundreds of illegally registered voters from voter rolls. And an important note is that's only on the states that have been cooperating with the Justice Department. That's typically red states, Republican states who take proactive action to clean their voter rolls. Blue states are pushing back on the Justice Department and suing. They don't want their voter rolls cleaned. And so we have concerns that when we eventually are able to look at those voter rolls, hopefully we'll find even more illegally registered individuals to vote. That's not even accounting for the instances that we have seen across the country where illegal aliens have cast ballots and action has been taken against them. So every time someone says, this never happens, this is so rare, we can point to a handful of examples that we've been able to find even without cooperation. We would say, cooperate with us, help us clean your voter rolls, and let's get this bill across the finish line so the American people have confidence in their elections.
You can use a real ID in this scenario, correct?
When you're casting your ballot as a form of ID, correct?
Yes. So there are only 5 states that have real ID. So if you don't have a real ID and you're not in one of those states, then what do you need? I'm just wondering logistics-wise.
It will depend on states, but you will need to you will need to have a photo ID when you cast your ballot to vote, which is something that most Americans have with them because it's required for daily life in the United States. Whether you're driving your car, whether you're going to the local library, you need a photo ID. When you are registering to vote, you will need proof of citizenship. So that might require something like a passport, a social security card. These are common sense requirements that, will be very clear to the American people in their individual jurisdictions. And we want to make it as easy as possible while also securing our election.
Senator John Cornyn out of Texas is in a heated primary battle with John Cornyn. They're in a runoff right now. John Cornyn has talked about doing away with the filibuster to make sure that the SAVE Act gets voted on and approved. The Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, though, says he doesn't have the votes, and it doesn't sound like he is totally in favor of eliminating the filibuster. There's been talk of maybe forcing Democrats to hold the floor for multiple days or weeks in a row to make it hard for them to block the SAVE Act. Where do we stand on that front? Does the White House support doing away with the filibuster?
President Trump was actually asked about this the other day when he was heading out of the White House to go visit Americans in Ohio and Kentucky and talk about his economic agenda. And what he said was, Leader Thune has to get it done. He's a leader. He'll get the votes. So I don't want to get ahead of the president on any of the specifics or the procedural changes that might need to happen. But what I will say is that it is a priority for the president that the Senate gets this passed. And he's working closely with his colleagues over there to get it done.
For Americans listening who may feel caught between concerns about election security and voter access, what's the core argument the administration wants them to understand about the Save America Act?
The core argument is that there is nothing more sacred in this country than casting your ballot as an American citizen and having confidence that your vote matters. And when we don't have secure elections, when they're open to fraud, when they're open to illegal voters, that takes that power away from American citizens. We want to ensure that American citizens' right to vote is protected. And this legislation, like I said, not only is it common sense, but it is supported by nearly 90% of the American people. And that's not just Republicans, that's not just Democrats, that's 90% of the American people. Voter access is important to the Trump administration. That's why these are common sense, easy requirements, but election security is also critically important, and the American people agree.
Abigail Jackson, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and we'll talk again very soon. If your boss wants to join us, you tell him.
Yep, he's welcome
to it.
I'll pass it along.
All right, thank you, Abigail. Appreciate it. No, and those, the figures of people who support that voting aspect is very large. There's no doubt about that. And we've seen, and again, was it enough to sway an election? Probably not, but we have seen people who should not be voting vote. We saw it in this last election here in the state of Michigan. We had a Chinese national at the University of Michigan.
That's right.
So it is a concern, and I understand why people would be overwhelmingly supportive of this, but there's a process in place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as she said, there have been a handful of evidence that some people that voted shouldn't have voted. There hasn't been any evidence that it swayed anything happening in the 2020 election, at least, evidence-wise. So I do know that a lot of people support this, though, going forward.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got Michigan State basketball tonight here on WJR. They're taking on the Bruins
Big
in
Ten tournament.
You guys like the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes. Because you're not one and done yet. You could still have a little hiccup.
I've never really been a fan of these tournaments. PTSD.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just had some PTSD
from yesterday.
Forgot about that traumatic day you had yesterday with your hiccup.
Look, these tournaments are beneficial if you're on the bubble, right? If you need a couple extra wins against some good teams, you can make some hay there. But I've never really been a fan.
Really?
No, not really.
Okay.
I want the good stuff. This is the appetizer. I want the steak. We'll talk to Tom Izzo coming up next.
Here's Ryan Goldberg, President and CEO of DFCU Financial.
At DFCU, our credit union is all about our members and the community. We're not just focused on numbers and metrics. but we are focused on doing the right thing for our communities. That's why we pay back earnings to our members through a very popular cashback program.
How about small business owners? How do they benefit from being with DFCU?
Our business and commercial banking teams bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise to benefit you. By understanding your unique financial needs, our team can deliver tailored lending solutions, deposit, and treasury management. Working with DFCU means you'll have access to decision makers and benefit from speed to market. We're in a strong liquidity position, and that means we have money to lend and the willingness to lend it. Business lenders often have a box that customers must fit into. We don't work that way.
Some restrictions apply. Visit dfcufinancial.com for details. DFCU Financial is an equal housing lender, federally insured by NCUA.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. For the second time this week, the Pentagon providing an update on Operation Epic Fury.
Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force. Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers, and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth adding Iran's leadership has gone underground. The U.S. military trying to figure out what went wrong, leading to an air disaster.
Central Command says 4 out of the 6 crew members aboard a U.S. Air Force KC-135 refueling plane were killed following a mid-air collision in western Iraq. It also involved another KC-135 managed to land in Israel. Central Command says the aircraft crashed not due to hostile fire or friendly fire.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Dubai. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by MGM Grand Detroit. Get ready to rock as Killer Queen. A tribute to Queen brings the legendary band's iconic sound and energy to MGM Grand Detroit. Thursday, July 9th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. 18 or older. Don't miss Killer Queen at MGM Grand Detroit.
On the Jeffries eastbound at Levan, an accident has 2 right lanes blocked. Traffic slow from 275 on the Lodge southbound at the Davison. That disabled vehicles cleared. However, that's causing backups to Wyoming Street. Westbound 94 slow between Connor and 75, and the westbound 94 right lane closed approaching Connor. That's in place until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A high wind warning in effect till 8 o'clock tonight with wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. Rain and snow showers this morning, turning to all rain this afternoon for today, a high of 45. Right now, it's 35. Partly cloudy, windy tonight with a low of 27. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 40. Snow showers in the morning on Sunday, then cloudy the rest of the day, the high of 58. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
No matter where you look, rising costs are hitting Michiganders hard, and when you're forced to make tough choices, keeping the lights and heat on, well, that shouldn't be one of them. Consumers Energy is stepping up, giving back $5 million to assistance agencies and supporting efforts to increase energy assistance dollars for families in need by 50%. And with personalized energy savings programs, you can take steps to start reducing your energy bills today. Count on Consumers Energy for support. Learn more at consumersenergy.com/help.
Stay on the right.
Three, two. Monday morning on JR Morning, we'll give you all the news, traffic, and weather to get your week started off right. We'll also check in with MSU head basketball coach Tom Izzo after the Big Ten tournament, and Monday Munchies at 8:49. All right here on WJR, WJR.com, and the always free WJR app.
Retirement planning questions by joining the president of Brzezinski Group, Brett Brzezinski, this Sunday at 1 p.m. Firm offers insurance services, investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Be sure to start every Sunday at 8 a.m. with JR Sunday with Mark Hollis. Great interviews and conversations all in one place on JR Sunday with Mark Hollis, sponsored by Tryon, your payroll and HR solution. To learn more and to reach out to Tryon, go to RelyOnTryon.com.
It's Ryan Armani. Everything costs more right now. Your roof doesn't have to wait. I'm here with Eric from Paramount Roofing, and they are offering a great way to save.
That's right, Ryan. Paramount Roofing is offering 5 years, 0% interest financing for people who need real solutions for their roofing project this year. That means premium materials, top-rated service, and a payment plan built for real-world budgets.
Call before March 31st to lock in this great offer. Visit weareroofing.com. That's weareroofing.com.
Thank you for calling the Complete Battery Source.
This is probably a long shot, but you guys have batteries for it?
Yep, got that.
But you didn't even hear what I was looking for.
Don't need to. We're your Complete Battery Source. The answer is pretty much always, yep, got that.
But what if I want a battery for it?
Yep, got that.
I haven't been able to find a battery anywhere for my...
Yep, got that. Look, Complete Battery Source has batteries for everything that uses batteries. Your tablet, your car, cordless drill, camera, smartphone, your laptop computer, your remote, your bulldozer, backhoe, Bluetooth speaker, motorcycle, lawn tractor, your boat, your watch, your flashlight, even your grandma's hearing aid. When you think you need a battery for something that uses batteries, we'll bring that something in and we'll test your old battery before we sell you a new one.
That's great.
That's right. All you got to do is come into any one of the 5 Complete Battery Source locations: Brighton, Southfield, Ypsilanti, Okemos, and Houghton Lake. Call toll-free 877-ALL-BATS or click on yepgotthat.com. 5 locations. Now you got that?
Yep, got that. But what about a battery for my...
Yep, got that.
Or a battery for my...
Yep, got that.
And for my wife's...
Yep, got that.
Signs of spring. The smell of the first cut lawn. Rain followed by an earthworm apocalypse. And WJR's Paul W. Smith St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's Tuesday starting with Paul at 11 a.m. and for the rest of the day. Sponsored in part by Visit Skyworks Equipment Rental, Genesis Cadillac, Estate Planning Legal Services, and by Wigley's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Miss it, and your luck could flip faster than a misfired river dance kick. Stay here for All Talk with Kevin Dietz at 9. Now back to JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Well, Michigan State's going to get their first crack at the Big Ten tournament tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the Big Ten tournament. Steve Courtney joins us now. We're waiting on Coach as we speak. So, Steve, what do you think of the Big Ten tournament?
I absolutely love it.
Okay.
You know,
2 against 1, Chris.
Tremendous viewing. There's no doubt about it. It actually got underway in the Windy City on Tuesday, and Magnum TI and the Spartans have been waiting their turn patiently. Well, lo and behold, we are now at the quarterfinals, and the way the draw works, Steve Peichel and his Scarlet Knights of Rutgers fall a little short to Mick Cronin and the UCLA Bruins last night, 72-59. So, you guys, this sets up a rematch, if you will. Hopefully, the Spartans-Bruins tilt goes much like it did back on February 17th at the Breslin Center. Remember that? Probably one of the more complete Spartan games we saw to date. Jeremy Fears, 16 points to go along with 10 assists. And remember, the Spartans launching a season-high 14 three-pointers in that 82-59 win. We also saw some bizarre moments. I have never seen a basketball coach, pro and or otherwise, eject his own player. That's exactly what we witnessed with Stephen Jamerson on that flagrant foul of Carson Cooper. And then Mick Cronin Mick Cronin afterwards got into a tete-a-tete with a media member asking about the former Spartan Xavier Booker and the way he was treated from the student section. Anyway, I know Tom Izzo likes this draw, and we'll see what transpires. Remember, it's a late start. It's 9 o'clock, and it is a long day for the players involved. I don't know how many walkthroughs you can do. How many meetings there's going to be, how many times these guys can hit the buffet, but it's very exciting.
9 o'clock. I thought it was more 8 o'clock.
They're saying 9 because it's going to go after the 6:30 tilt, which is going to be Purdue and Nebraska. So that one's scheduled to go off at 6:30, but more times than not, everything is backed up.
I feel like, again, they're going to need their guys to come through. Jeremy Fears is going to have to play a heck of a game. But again, you look at that last game, that first game with the Bruins, their inside game was really good too. So Jackson Kohler inside, Carson Cooper inside, it's going to do them a lot of good.
Well, you know what? You're right, Chris, because you go back to that win on the 17th of February, and the Spartans, quite frankly, just firing on all cylinders. Cohen Carr, 16 points. Coop, 12. Jordan Scott got involved with 11, and Jackson Kohler, 9 points to go along with 10 rebounds. Somebody to keep an eye on, as we saw last night, Tyler Bilodeau, in that meeting on the 17th of February, 22 points, but didn't have any, and I mean didn't have any help from his teammates. I'll tell you a Bruin to keep an eye on, watching that Bruin Scarlet Knight tilt last night. Donovan Dent, the senior guard, he played 39 minutes, for crying out loud. 12 points to go along with 10 boards. Getting involved, he's a little gnat, and he's just all over the place. 10 boards to go along with 4 offensive. So I know, as he's game planning, probably over and over again as this Friday unfolds in Chicago, Tom Izzo is telling his group that this guy here has got to be negated.
Yeah, Donovan Dent, only the 5th player in UCLA history with that triple-double, the first since 2013, so he's a star.
Yeah, he's a contributor. And look, don't think for a second that Mick Cronin is not telling his team leading up to this quarterfinal match tonight what transpired at the Breslin Center. And they want to, and look at it this way. For those of you who keep an eye on this kind of stuff, the Spartans only a 5.5 point favorite. So this is tournament time, and everything is magnified. And does Tom Izzo like his team? Of course he does. But it's going to be all hands on deck, and something to keep an eye on. You got to take care of the basketball. That's paramount. The Spartans got to go out and do what the Spartans do, and that's dominate the boards. They played 31 games this year, and I think they won the board battle 26 times. So that's their calling card. And of course, defense. Make it a difficult road for this Bruin team, obviously coming in with a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, and their transition game, when their transition game is on, they're one of the best transition teams in the country.
Well, and if you remember that tilt at the Breslin, Tom likes to run even after made baskets. And, this is another calling card of this Spartan team. So, you get 3 wins in 3 nights, and you deliver Magnum TI his 7th Big Ten tournament title. I like the draw for the Spartans because look, I'm
they
not
know them.
What's that, Jane?
They know them.
Yeah, well, I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but State gets through the Bruins tonight. They will play the winner of Purdue, Nebraska. Meanwhile, the number 1 seed, Michigan basketball Wolverines, they're going off at noon today. And they have, you talk about a team with a lot of confidence in this tournament. The Ohio State Buckeyes take care of the Iowa Hawkeyes. What a tilt that was. 72-69 the final. My point here is the Buckeyes have won 4 straight. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. Again, that's at high noon.
You know why I thought it was at 8 o'clock? Because I was looking at the bracket, and it's the Chicago times.
Central time.
You know what?
I'm back on track, though, guys. We got it.
This is probably why T.I.'s probably still snoozing, because what is it, 7:42 there?
Yeah. I bet he's not. I bet he's watching film. He's getting ready for this game at 9 p.m. our time.
Well, you know what? I was hoping to chat with him, but you know what? He probably feels bad. I don't know if he's in the meeting, like you say, watching film. But looking forward to chat. Just got in from my run. And,
I don't believe that.
What?
Fake news.
I don't understand. So, yeah, we've got the Spartans and Bruins. You'll hear it, of course, here on WJR.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Stevie, thank you. Appreciate you. Have
All
a good
right, you guys
weekend.
enjoy
the
this
game.
rather ugly Friday, huh? But it's a Friday.
Yeah, Friday nonetheless. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. Of course, it is Friday, and we've talked a lot of heavy stuff today. Let's end it on a feel-good note. It's coming up on JR Morning.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
I'm here with Greg Ayler, host of Expedition Retirement. Greg, you say the advisor that got you to retirement may not be the person to get you through retirement. Why?
The financial advisors, they're the ones that focus on grow, and investment selection. When they get to the top, there's a whole plethora of new issues that they have to attack that financial advisor usually isn't equipped to tackle.
Expedition Retirement, Sundays at 5 on News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome to Making the Impossible Possible with Henry Ford Health. And with us today is cardiologist Dr. Corey Russell. From the routine to leading-edge breakthroughs at Henry Ford, healthcare is more than high-tech. It's human. And Dr. Russell, how does this impact your work?
That's so true. As a physician, what we do is intrinsically personal. It's incredibly important to me to maintain that human connection with my patients. My goal is to help my patients feel better and continue living longer, happier lives with their loved ones. That truly makes me happy.
Well, that's wonderful. And Henry Ford is a nonprofit. How does this impact the care you give as a physician?
Because Henry Ford Health is a nonprofit, our donors and their gifts power the advancements that help us improve and save more lives every day. Philanthropy is the difference maker that enables the next level of exceptional patient-centered care, leading-edge research, clinical training excellence, and broad community impact.
Great. Cardiovascular care is part of your Detroit expansion plans. Can you share more?
Cardiovascular care will be one of the specialties in the new hospital facility currently being built at our Detroit campus. Thanks to donor support, we can continue to engage in the most advanced research while investing in the best equipment and technology available, all to improve our patients' lives.
To learn more or make a gift, visit henryford.com/above and beyond.
Crystal here from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. This spring, be prepared for outages with a new standby generator, or have your generator's 6-month maintenance done by our certified experts. Visit familyheating.com to schedule your maintenance or free generator estimate today.
Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your art journey, Do Michelle's invite you to discover something extraordinary this March. Explore an extensive estate jewelry collection including Cartier and Tiffany. Find art from important private collections, works by renowned modern masters, and a curated selection of mid-century modern and traditional furnishings. Join online or in person March 19th and 20th with preview open now. Visit DUMOArt.com to learn more and bid. Do Michelle's, your #1 place to buy art in the Midwest.
Have an authentic Irish experience this St. Patrick's Day with Wiggly's famous Eastern Market corned beef. Located in the heart of Eastern Market, Wiggly's corned beef has been a Detroit tradition since 1924. Call 888-WIGGLYS today or visit Wigglys.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Staples. Staples has hundreds of great ways to boost your brand, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through April 18th and save up to $125 on all your custom prints. Staples, that was easy.
Southbound 75 at Rochester Road, an accident has traffic slow to Big Beaver. On the Jeffries westbound at Beach Daily, crash off to the right shoulder. Same story on the Jeffries westbound at Farmington Road. Eastbound on the Jeffries at Levan, that accident's cleared. However, traffic still slow from 275. Also seeing delays on westbound 94 between Gratiot and 75. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Reamer Floors. Reamer Floors 3-day sale is here this Thursday through Saturday only. Save up to 40% on new flooring for your home. Carpet, hardwood, luxury vinyl, and waterproof floors, all at unbeatable sale pricing. If flooring's on your spring to-do list, don't wait. This weekend only at Reamer Floors in Bloomfield Hills, Northville, or online at reamerfloors.com. Here's your forecast.
A cold air sticking around, milder by the end of the weekend, but still some snow in between. This morning's snow and rain shouldn't be too much of a problem, but travel cautiously just in case we get a light accumulation, untreated road surfaces, and maybe the grass tops and the car tops. We'll go through the day and see this rain taper off later. 45, gusty winds. There is a high wind warning, by the way, as the winds could gust to 40. Tonight, cloudy, easier, 28, suburbs colder, breezy early. Tomorrow, partial sun, 40. Chance of snow tomorrow night into Sunday morning, then a change to rain. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicon, 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Well, on a Friday, we always try to leave you with something a little positive.
Well, and Detroit has always taken pride in its identity, from its music and food to its neighborhoods and culture. And every year on March 13th, today, the city celebrates all of that with 313 Day. It's named after Detroit's iconic area code. And what started as a nod to the city's phone prefix has grown into a full day of events across the city, from celebrations on Belle Isle to food specials, concerts, pop-up events downtown, all kind of stuff.
And speaking of concerts, we're going to get to all about 313 Day.
Oh, we
do have tickets.
We got
to
tickets
give away,
to a concert?
to give away to the Music Man coming to the Fox
Yay!
Theater April 2nd through the 4th. You need to be caller number 9 right now at 800-859-0957. Be caller number 9. Win those tickets to Meredith Wilson's The Music Man. Tickets are on sale right now at Ticketmaster. Official rules are at WJR.com. And you can win a bonus chance to win. Text TROUBLE to 800-859.
And what a great time to win them on 313 Day.
That's exactly right.
Okay, well, let's find out what's happening this year and how the city is marking the 313 Day occasion. We're joined by Axios Detroit reporter Annalise Frank. Annalise, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good to be here.
So for people who may not know, 313 Day has really become a celebration of Detroit itself. How did a phone area code turn into a citywide holiday?
Yeah, well, I think people, it's an unofficial holiday, and, Detroit was assigned the area code 313 in like the 1940s. The North American Numbering Plan, was created to standardize the telephone system.
Mm-hmm.
And, we got a low number that reflected Detroit's prominence as a city at the time. Low numbers, easier to dial on rotary phones. And so that's sort of how the area code of 313 came to be. And, I think it colloquially became a symbol of sort of being able to celebrate Detroit. People who have been here a very long time want to celebrate and show their pride in the city. And, I think over the last, several years, it's really grown in prominence for everything from community celebrations to sort of, big corporations kind of cashing in on it, and restaurants and bringing people downtown. So it's become a pretty big deal.
And there's freebies and there's deals out there for people to get today. Do you have any that you could share with us?
Yeah, for sure. So, for example, Moot's Pizzeria downtown is offering pizza slices for $3.13. Atwater Brewery every year has, various food and beverage deals. You can find them in Rivertown for $3.13. Mezcal in Midtown, $13.13 premium margaritas. My Big Fat Shawarma, which is kind of like a Chipotle style shawarma spot in Midtown, you can get a bowl or wrap and get a second bowl or wrap for $3.13. Streetwear sneaker seller Snipes has a exclusive Adidas sneaker available at his stores today. There's like a dozen of those stores, in the metro area. So that's some of the kind of food and retail deals. We've also got, I think Belle Isle was mentioned. There's a ton going on Belle Isle. I think most notably the historic casino on the island that's been closed for years is reopening today. They're going to have a DJ there. It's very limited to 313 people, but there's going to be some deals at the Belle Isle store near the aquarium. There's going to be a lot going on the island. Hopefully the weather cooperates.
So turn our pride into a good deal. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you step back and look at everything happening, Annalise, the music, the food, the shoes, the sneakers, does 313 Day really capture the full identity of Detroit today?
I think it really depends where you go. I'm definitely not going to say that getting a cheap slice of pizza is kind of the end all be all. But I think, I think if you were to kind of stop by a couple different parties, everything from Belle Isle to, the Riverwalk is having a ton going on for, families. The Pistons game is going to have a ton going on. There's a grand opening of a new bar and grill on Livernois, Paris on the Ave. I mean, I think if you were to stop at a couple of these different events, chat with people, I think you could really get a sense of all the different things that are going on in the city. I think it is what you make of it,
Annalise Frank, reporter for Axios Detroit. We appreciate you coming on, giving us that 313 information. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I have a feel-good story here that was making... Excuse me, the music must play.
Yeah, just wait, Jamie.
Pardon me. Excuse me, Jason. Okay, so this was making the rounds on social media yesterday. And what this is a lady named Brittany, I believe in Tennessee, ordered Starbucks on DoorDash. And so she sees on her Ring doorbell who's bringing her Starbucks, and it was sort of an elderly man who needed some help up the stairs and gingerly put the bag down, then turned around and went back. She's like, what is this story? Why is this man my DoorDasher? And she does some research. She found the person, and the guy's name is Richard. And basically, with the help of social media, she tracked him down and learned that he does DoorDash due to his wife being fired from her job at no fault of her own. And by the time they pay their monthly expenses, purchase their medication, there's nothing left. So he picked up this job doing DoorDash to try and make some extra money for his family. She's like, I'm going to help this guy. Sets up a GoFundMe. The title is Give Richard a Chance to Rest Again. And guess how much she's raised for Richard and his wife? I mean, she personally, but all the donations too.
I couldn't even guess.
$520,000.
Oh my
Almost
goodness.
521 for this guy who seems like the sweetest guy. And it's just one person who tried to do something nice, and look what happened. I love this.
That's a great story.
There's a lot of people that want to help.
Absolutely.
And if you're just, she was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
To
and had the heart to help.
Yeah, right.
Had the heart to want to help.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to set up a GoFundMe, but this has made the rounds on social media. This is when social media can be good.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this man does not have to do DoorDash anymore.
Unbelievable.
That is great.
I have this story here. It's I think it's positive news where the University of Houston scientists there are helping reveal some of the weakest bridges across the world. They're using satellite imagery. They did this to 744 bridges across the world. And this international team found that if you combine radar and satellite imaging, that they can actually identify which bridges are at risk of structural damage before tragedy strikes.
Oh, wow.
Before people are driving across a bridge and it could collapse on them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Unbelievable.
Well, good. I'm glad that's out there.
I mean, again, like we have a problem with our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Right? So the fact that you're able to harness technology that's already in place, all you got to do is link all the pieces together. And you find that, boy, we might need to pay a little TLC to this bridge here before something happens.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Kevin Dietz and All Talk coming your way next here on WJR. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here Monday at 6 a.m. Have a good one.